I'm pretending to cultivate immortality in kindergarten. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 401 Marriage Proposal. Lin Zhengren took a sip of the tea in front of him and cleared his throat. The two sisters sat beside Lin Zhengren and waited quietly for him to speak, ready to agree at any time. At this time, Jiang's mother found that the two sisters who had been quarreling over Lin Zhengren seemed to be particularly peaceful today. They came together just now, and now after sitting down, they were no longer disliking each other as usual. So she couldn't help but interrupt and asked, "Qianqian, you and your sister seem to be quite peaceful today?" "Not quarreling anymore," Jiang Jin responded coldly. "Why are you quarreling? My sister is usually very nice to me, and my relationship with my sister is also very good. There is nothing to quarrel about." Jiang's mother was surprised, and Jiang's father and grandfather were also surprised. They were surprised that they didn't expect to hear such words from Jiang Jin's mouth. Jiang's mother asked her elder sister again, "Jingxi, have you and your sister's affairs been settled? What's going on with you two?" Jingxi sat there very elegantly and smiled. "Whether it's settled or not, parents will know when Zhang tells us later." Jiang's father was curious, "So what Zhengren talked about today is about you two sisters." Lin Zhengren nodded and spoke formally, "Uncle, aunt, and grandpa, I came here today for two things to say. One is that I am now together with Jingxi." Jiang's father and mother nodded. Jiang's mother, "We know, haven't you been together for a long time?" Jingxi whispered. "Mom, listen first, Zhang hasn't finished yet." Lin Zhengren continued, "And not only Jingxi, I am also together with Qianqian." Jiang's mother, the living room suddenly became quiet. Even Fang Meng, who was pouring tea, felt that Lin Zhengren was a little brave. He dared to say this directly in front of the master and the lady. In modern society, even TV dramas don't dare to show that a man can say that he is dating two daughters at the same time in front of each other's parents. Jiang's mother and father were stunned when they heard this. They even thought they had heard it wrong. Jiang's father frowned slightly and asked in disbelief, "Zhengren, what did you just say?" "I didn't hear clearly," Lin Zhengren said seriously. "Uncle, I mean, I am now with Jingxi and Qianqian at the same time. In the future, I want to marry them both home. I hope that uncle, aunt and grandfather can agree." Jiang's father and mother opened their eyes wide, and grandfather also opened his mouth in surprise. Jingxi noticed something wrong at this time, and felt that her father was going to be angry, so she immediately stood up and blocked Lin Zhengren. Jingxi said, "Mom and Dad, don't be angry. Zheng is serious about what he said. Jinjin and I have made up our minds to follow him." Jin was even more direct. She stood straight and said coldly, "Yes, my sister and I have made up our minds that we will only marry Lin Zhengren in this life. Now we are living with Renren. The rice has been cooked. It's only a matter of time before I get pregnant. I hope you can help us." Jiang's mother was surprised to hear those outrageous words. For so many years, her two daughters have never united on almost anything. But today, unexpectedly. And they all live together. She covered her mouth, not knowing what to say. After hearing what his two daughters said, Jiang's father's majestic eyes stared at Lin Zhengren. His forehead was blue with veins, his hands were clenched into fists, and his eyes were wide open. He asked for the third time, and this time he called her by her full name, "Lin Zhengren, say it again." "What did you just say?" Jiang's father's aura was extremely terrifying now, but Lin Zhengren remained calm in the face of danger. He also stood up and protected Jingxi and Jiang Jin behind him. He said word by word, "Uncle and aunt, I am serious. I sincerely hope that you two can give me Jingxi and Qianqian. I will definitely protect them well in the future and treat them well." Jiang's father and Lin Zhengren looked at each other, and the former stood up. Mother Jiang wanted to stop her husband. "Husband, don't be excited." As a result, Father Jiang raised his hand to block his wife, walked up to Lin Zhengren fiercely, and looked up at him. "Lin Zhengren, you are so brave. How dare you say this in front of me? Do you know that these two daughters are my most precious things? I am reluctant to give up Jingxi if you want her, and now you want them all." Lin Zhengren looked at Father Jiang closely and said honestly, "There is no way. I have fallen in love with both of them at the same time. As long as uncle and aunt agree, you can make any requests. What are you thinking about?" Do you think I will agree to marry both of our daughters at the same time? Since I am with them now, I have to say it. This is also my commitment to them to show my attitude. Father Zhang, he sneered, young man, I felt that you were not a good person when I first saw you, and it turned out to be the same as I thought. Zhang Jingshi behind Lin Suhengren wanted to say something, but was glared at by her father. You two shut up, Dad. Zhang Jingshi felt that her father was a little scary now. Father Zhang glanced at Lin Suhengren again and sat back on the sofa. After thinking about something, he looked at Lin Suhengren again. Pour me and your aunt a cup of tea. Lin Suhengren nodded. Okay. He walked to Fang Meng and took the teapot, and poured 2 cups of tea for Father Zhang and Mother Zhang. After Mother Zhang took it, she stared at Lin Suhengren, while Father Zhang looked at the tea bowls handed over by the other party and breathed heavily like a lion. Lin Suhengren, uncle and aunt, please have tea. Father Zhang took the cup of tea angrily and slowly put it to his mouth. I really don't know what sin I have committed in this life. I have cultivated 2 precious daughters for so many years, but I didn't expect that you would pick them all. He suddenly sighed, and after drinking, he put the cup heavily on the coffee table. Forget it. Since Jingshi and Kaianqian both like you and are willing to follow you, what can I say as a father? What can I say when the rice is cooked? As soon as this was said, there was an uproar at the scene. Zhang Jingshi and Zhang Jin didn't seem to expect their father to compromise. So easy. Zhang Jingshi asked incredulously, Dad, what did you say? You agreed? Zhang Jin also asked. Yes, Dad, you agreed so easily? It's a bit unexpected. Jiang's father suddenly gritted his teeth and looked at his 2 daughters angrily. I didn't tell you two to shut up. You two still have the nerve to say it. At the same time, you lived with Lin Suhengren without telling me and your mother, and you even slept in the same bed. You two are really bold. You don't know how to be ashamed. Do you know what you are doing? The 2 sisters were speechless. Lin Suhengren understood a little bit. From the meaning of this sentence, it seems that his uncle and aunt have known it for a long time. At this time, Jiang's mother no longer pretended to be confused, and told the truth helplessly. Okay, I won't hide it from you. Actually, since we accidentally found out that Kaianqian would not return to the rental house some time ago, we have investigated the 3 of you. We never thought that the 3 of you would actually be in love together, and you are doing so well. We were really surprised to hear the news at that time. Jiang's father was angry, more than surprised. I was so angry that I couldn't sleep for several days after knowing about this. How could you two fall in love with the same person and be with that person at the same time? And you even sleep in the same bed. Do you know what the consequences will be if this matter gets out? And what about the wedding? How can I invite relatives and friends to congratulate? Have you thought about these things? When the sisters heard this, they felt that the matter was already settled, and their father's anger made it possible for the matter to be reconciled. Zhang Jingshi said happily in a low voice, there's no need to make a big deal about it. The wedding is just a formality. The most important thing is that we can be happy, right, Mom and Dad? It will be fine as long as you can come when the time comes. Jiang's father pointed at his 2 good daughters. You two are really? He said angrily to the bold someone, Zhengren. I also warn you, since you have done such a serious thing, you must have the ability to bear the responsibility. I admire you for daring to tell me and your aunt about this. If you didn't have the courage to do it and take responsibility for it, I would never agree today. Lin Suhengren said, I was serious about dating them. No matter how big the difficulties are, I have to face them. And I believe that uncle and aunt will agree. You guy. You really are worthy of being the genius I have selected. Zhang Jingshi and Zhang Jin looked at each other, and quickly walked to Jiang's father, took their arms around their parents to express their gratitude. Zhang Jingshi, Mom and Dad, thank you for agreeing to marry Zhang to us. Zhang Jin also rarely tried to please her father. Thank you Dad for agreeing that my sister and I should be nice to him. Mom and Dad are the best to us. Jiang's father and mother were really helpless. Chapter 402 End of Negotiation. Grandpa couldn't help laughing when he saw this scene. After all, he has lived to such an old age. So he has seen a lot of polygamy. In the past, capable men would basically marry several women. Although this kind of thing has almost disappeared in the new era, many things have only disappeared on the surface. This is really going to be a big family, he sighed. Father Zhang also looked at the 2 difficult daughters helplessly. Okay, you two don't have to praise us here. Of course, I know my daughters best. You two are both stubborn. If I don't agree with this, won't you give me a reason not to marry unless it's legitimate? You're going to make me angry again. Mother Jiang also felt that although this matter was a bit weird, what could they do since the two daughters were willing? Both daughters were not easy to deal with. She reminded, but you two can only keep your relationship to yourself, but don't spread it too much outside or there will be trouble. Jiang Jingshi nodded, well, don't worry, Mom, we won't go out and tell anyone. Qianqian, Zhang and other sisters will just live our own lives. Well, Jiang's father was suddenly stunned. Other sisters? What other sisters? Jiang Jin explained, it's He Qing, Lily, Wenwen and the others. The 5 of us plus Ranran, the 6 of us will live a good life. Jiang's father frowned again, what did you say? There are 3 more girls. Jiang's mother was also stunned and at a loss, how come there are 3 more? How many girlfriends has Zhangren dated? Jiang Jingshi didn't expect her parents to not know. They had secretly investigated but didn't investigate clearly. She looked at Lin Zhangren and her sister. Everyone smiled. So Lin Zhangren also talked about He Qing, Jiang Zuli and Han Wenwen. After that, this time Jiang's father and mother were really shocked and couldn't speak. They said in unison, what? 5 girlfriends? You dated 5 at the same time. Jiang's father looked at Lin Zhangren, you don't have to say anything else, can your body withstand 5 beautiful girlfriends? Lin Zhangren smiled and said, not bad. Jiang Jingshi and Jiang Jin hurriedly coaxed their parents again. Jiang Jingshi said gently, Dad, you see, the 5 of us know each other anyway, and we live together very well. If you agree, don't worry about it. Jiang Jin also said coldly, yes, Mom and Dad, don't worry about this matter, we live very happily. Jiang Jingshi asked Lin Zhangren, Zhang, when we have a chance in the future, can we bring He Qing and the others to my house to meet my parents? Of course, we are all family. Jiang Jingshi smiled at her father and said, Dad, this way you and Mom will have 3 more lovely daughters. How great. Jiang's father had a lot of words on his throat but couldn't say them. She always thought that her 2 daughters were very old-fashioned, who knew that they would be so open-minded in such matters. She liked a boy so much that she allowed him to have 5 girlfriends. In the end, he had to remind Lin Zhangren, as the father of Jingshi and Qianqian, I don't care about anything else. You have to promise me that you can treat my 2 daughters equally. If they allow you to be unfaithful, you must have the ability to be unfaithful. Take good care of them. If Jingshi or Qianqian is ignored or bullied in the future, I will never let you off easily. Do you hear me? Lin Zhangren nodded and promised, don't worry, Uncle. If Jingshi or Qianqian is not happy with me in the future, you can do whatever you want to me. Jiang's father looked at Lin Zhangren's serious look and sighed again. Jiang's mother saw that her husband agreed, so she had nothing to say. She just felt that this son-in-law was indeed not an ordinary person. Jiang Jingshi and Jiang Jin saw that their parents had compromised, looked at each other and smiled. After talking about the most difficult thing, the family talked about the second thing. That is, the merger of Jiang Group and Zhangxi Company. Lin Zhangren talked about the advantages and disadvantages of the merger. Uncle and the merger was decided after the 3 of us had a serious discussion, because Qianqian was too busy to handle the company alone. After the merger, Jingshi will help Qianqian, and the 3 of us can handle major matters together. Moreover, even if the Jiang Group is merged, there is no need to change the name. It is just the same company inside. What do you think? Jiang's father and mother looked at each other. Although Jiang's group was founded by them, they originally thought that it could continue to grow bigger and stronger. But now it has come to this point, there is nothing they can do. Their 2 daughters have fallen in love with Lin Zhangren at the same time, and Lin Zhangren himself is an absolute business genius. It can be said that after the merger, the company will definitely be bigger and better than before. And in this case, there is no point in separating again. The 3 of them are already a whole, a family. Father Jiang didn't say much else, just do as you said. Jiang Group will merge with Zhangxi Company, but I don't think the name Jiang Group needs to be kept. If we want to merge, let's merge thoroughly. In the past, it was called Zhangxi because it combined the names of you and my daughter Jingxi. From now on, we can just call it Zhangjiang Group, he added. This also means that we have completely become a family. Lin Zhangren thought for a while. Zhangjiang is not as good as Jiangzheng. Jiangzheng Group is more easy to pronounce, especially now that the company has developed to this point. It is mainly due to the establishment of the country by my uncle and aunt at the beginning, so it is reasonable to put the word Jiang in front, having already married 2 daughters, and now the company is completely his own. Lin Zhangren knows that he doesn't need to worry about such a small thing as the name. Using the name Zhang Zhang is easy to pronounce, and it is also a respect for my uncle and aunt. When Jiang's father heard this, he understood the other party's good intentions and smiled at Lin Songren. Okay, I'll do as you say. I'll call you Zhang Zhang. Finally, as an elder, I'll give you one last word. Treat the company I built with my own hands well and treat my two daughters well. You must ensure that this company is passed on smoothly and cannot be cut off. We have only 3 treasures in the Zhang family and I'm handing them over to you. Lin Songren agreed. Don't worry, uncle and aunt. In the future I will let you see with your own eyes that Zhang Zhang Group will become stronger and stronger. After discussing the important matters, the family had a simple lunch here happily at noon. Fang Meng didn't seem to expect that things would go so smoothly today. Before serving the dishes, she said to Lin Songren, "Congratulations to classmate Lin Songren for getting the consent of the master and his wife." Lin Songren smiled. He greeted her and said, "You've taken a month off recently. What are you going to do with this time?" Fang Meng smiled and replied, "Nowhere in particular, but there is something I have to do recently, otherwise it will be too late." It sounds like something very important. Do you need help? Fang Meng looked at Lin Songren and said, "No, if classmate Lin Songren wants to help, just wish me good luck." "Okay, I wish you good luck." Fang Meng's cheeks were slightly red. "Thank you." Chapter 403 Zhang Jin is growing up. After lunch, Lin Songren took Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin away. He had to visit his parents and tell them about Zhang Jin. He called his mother in advance in the car to ask if she was home. But his mother said that the company was working overtime today. Lin Songren was puzzled. Overtime? He looked at Zhang Jingxi, who nodded and sent a message to his secretary Pan Lin. Then my mother immediately changed her tone on the phone. "Oh, just now the boss sent me another text message saying that I won't work overtime. Is there anything wrong, Ranran?" Lin Songren laughed. "Yes, Mom, I will go home today. I have guests." Lin Xiaoli was curious and happy. "You are coming back? And there are guests? Who? Who can be brought home by you? Is it Jingxi, Xiao Hacking? Wenwen or Lily?" "I guessed it almost. You will know when the time comes." "Okay, then will you eat at home tonight? If you do, I will go buy some dishes and wait to entertain you." Lin Songren reminded Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin with his eyes, and said to the phone, "Okay, let's eat at home tonight." After saying hello on the phone, the Rolls-Royce crossed the city all the way to the town. After carrying the 2 women home, he knocked on the door, and Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin came to open the door immediately. At first, Lin Xiaoli was quite happy. She hadn't seen her son for a month. "Ranran is back? Mom missed you. Who did you bring back?" But when she opened the door, she saw a familiar but not so familiar face. The beautiful and cold Zhang Jin had long hair and stood in a dignified posture. She said very politely, "Hello, uncle and aunt. I am Zhang Jin, Ranran's girlfriend, and I came to visit you today." Lin Xiaoli stood there like a wooden man, and Lin Yingjin was also motionless. The couple were both stunned. Lin Xiaoli hesitated. "Girlfriend? The 5th one?" Lin Songren smiled. "Yes, the 5th one. Qian is Jingxi's biological sister. You two should also notice that they look similar." Zhang Jingxi also greeted, "Hello, uncle and aunt. This is my sister, and now's Hang's girlfriend." Lin Xiaoli grinned when she heard it. She had met Zhang Jin before, so she knew that she was Zhang Jingxi's sister. "Of course, you really have a big appetite, Dad." Lin Yingjin couldn't help but ask curiously. "Of course, you have already talked about 2 daughters. Will the Zhang family agree to this?" "Jingxi and Qian are both eldest daughters," Lin Songren said. "I have visited uncle and aunt this morning. Uncle and aunt also agreed to let Jingxi and Qian marry me in the future. Parents don't have to worry, but I haven't greeted the parents of He Qing and Lily yet. I plan to visit them one by one during this period of time." He let the 2 sisters enter the house first. Lin Xiaoli and Lin Yingjin looked at each other awkwardly. The various behaviors of his son from childhood to adulthood are completely different from the growth path of a normal person. Even as a parent, he could not guess what he did. All he could do was to wish his son good luck. However, Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiaoli knew one thing very well, that is, the Lin family would really flourish in their son's generation in the future. This big family has 5 daughters-in-law. In the future, even if each of them is pregnant with 1 child, it is also a visible prosperity. So Lin Xiaoli accepted this new 5th daughter-in-law smoothly without any surprise. In the evening, the family had a happy dinner together and they ate very happily. It must be said that Jiang Jin's high appearance and coldness are still quite liked by Lin Xiangli. In her words, Jiang Jin and Jiang Jingxi both feel like stars. They are indeed the eldest and second daughters of a wealthy family, and they are quite temperamental. After dinner, because He Qing and others were still waiting at home, Lin Xiangren did not stay overnight in his hometown. He took the two sisters to say goodbye to their parents and went back. In the next few days, Jiang Jin began to concentrate on resolving many matters related to the merger of Jiang Group and Jiangxi Company with her sister. Lin Xiangren went to coach Wenwen's live broadcast, Jiang Zuli went to the company to participate in various interviews, and He Qing was researching new dishes and training in taekwondo. Just when the Jiang sisters were tinkering with these documents, in the study, Jiang Jin, who was sitting at the table, said unexpectedly, "Sister, it's so strange." Jiang Jingxi was holding a fountain pen and writing something in confusion. "What's strange? Are there any clauses that are not going smoothly?" Jiang Jin shook her head in surprise. "No, I'm surprised that my efficiency in handling work seems to be several times faster than before. In the past, it would take me at least 10 days to handle so many documents, but these 2 days, my efficiency has been unexpectedly fast, and my mind is particularly clear. I don't know what's going on." Jiang Jingxi thought it was something else, and asked with a gentle smile, "You just found out?" "Just found out? What do you mean?" Jiang Jingxi said meaningfully, "Let me ask you, have you been training piano recently?" "Of course, Ranran has been teaching me occasionally recently." "Then have you found that your piano level has also improved a lot? Or you can clearly feel that you have more insights into playing?" Jiang Jin was surprised. "Really, sister, how did you know?" Jiang Jingxi kept it a secret. "Don't worry about how I know. I will continue to ask you, when did you start to have this feeling?" "It was when Ranran taught me recently." No, absolutely not. Think about it carefully in conjunction with the work. You just said that the work processing speed has also increased. Is it because Zhang taught you? Did you do all this by yourself?" "Yes." "When did it start?" Jiang Jin thought about it carefully and finally sorted out the timeline. She remembered that the strange things seemed to have started after she and Lin Xiangren were intimate in the hotel. Her cheeks were slightly red. "Yes, after I was intimate with Ranran." Jiang Jingxi smiled and nodded. "That's right. And then did Zhang hold your hand and say something?" "He said that you should follow him or something like that." "Yes. Sister has it too." "Yeah." Jiang Jingxi smiled gently. "I have it too, and I once asked He Qing and the others, and it seems that everyone has it. That is to say, as long as we get along well with Zhang and he says those words to us, our learning speed will increase several times." "It's amazing, but why is it like this? How did Ranran do it?" Jiang Jingxi shook her head. "I don't know about that. I asked Zhang before, and Zhang just said that he had discovered that as long as girls were good with him, their learning speed would double. As for why, no one knew." Jiang Jin frowned. "So weird." Jiang Jingxi continued to process documents with a pen. "There's something even more amazing. Did you ask me and when a long time ago why our skin is so good without using cosmetics? Has your skin improved after you were good with Zhang recently?" Jiang Jin nodded with a red face. "Yes, I asked Ranran about this, and he told me that it is a tonic for women. As long as we do that, our skin will get better and even various minor ailments can be cured, so it seems that there are always many magical things about Zhang that can't be explained." Wenwen said before that Zhang might be the pure yang body that exists in novels. "I think it's still credible." "What is the pure yang body?" Jiang Jin suddenly looked at her sister biting her lips, and suddenly asked in a low voice, "By the way, sister, have you tasted it with your mouth?" Jiang Jingxi was surprised to hear what her sister said, and looked at him with a red face. "Why did you suddenly say such a thing?" Jiang Jin said coldly, "Because I haven't tried it, so I want to ask my sister." Jiang Jingxi quickly covered her sister's mouth to stop her from continuing, and then whispered in her sister's ear, "Sister will teach you." The two sisters whispered some experience, and Jiang Jin listened carefully with a little shyness. Since they both followed Lin Zhang, the relationship between the sisters has become better and better. Jiang Jin also knows more and more. Chapter 404 Jiang Jin also wants. In the afternoon, in Jiang Jin's study, the black-haired girl sat alone at her desk, searching for all kinds of knowledge about relationships between men and women on the internet. These new information made Jiang Jin quite curious, and coupled with the new knowledge points her sister had told her in the morning, sure enough, falling in love is not as simple as imagined. "But my sister said that and that kind of thing," We should not only make ourselves happy, but also make the other person happy, so that we can reach the happiest state together. I think it makes sense. Zhang Jin recalled the intimacy over the past week, and she felt addicted inexplicably. Especially when she saw Lin Sehengren's expression every time he wanted to kiss her, that feeling was even more addictive than studying. And often she thought about it again the next day after it was over, but Lin Sehengren had so many girlfriends, and he basically went to make out with other people the next day. This made Zhang Jin feel jealous. She finally understood what Lin Sehengren meant by sneaking away before, which showed that the sisters had the same idea as her. No wonder everyone is sneaking away. She continued to slide the mouse wheel aimlessly to search for knowledge about men and women, and suddenly saw a photo unexpectedly. Wedding ring. Zhang Jin almost subconsciously thought of the ring her sister always wore, and clicked on it to check what the meaning of the wedding ring was. Zhang Jin read what Baidu said. The wedding ring is the ring that the man proposes to the woman. It is worn on the ring finger of the left hand and cannot be worn on other fingers, because only when it is worn on the ring finger can others know that the woman is someone's fiancée, and thus know that the woman is already taken. She blinked her cold eyes. Ring finger? Which finger did her sister wear the ring on? It seems to be the ring finger. She looked at the web page with trembling eyes, and then looked down at her bare left ring finger. Jealousy said, that means my sister was proposed to by Renren. I also want to be proposed to. That night, everyone was basically no longer busy with work. Since living together, they go to school and work during the day, and the evening time is the time for everyone to have fun together. Most of the nights, the 5 girls and Lin Sehengren would sit on the sofa with Lin Sehengren to watch TV, eat snacks and fruits, and everyone leaned on him. Tonight was like this. Lin Sehengren sat in the middle of the sofa in the living room. Sisters Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingxi sat on one side, while Xiao Heqing and Han Wenwen were hugged by Lin Sehengren. Zhang Zuli, who was smaller in stature, sat cross-legged in front of Lin Sehengren, leaning against him as if he were a sofa. The family gathered on the huge sofa and watched a love triangle idol soap opera from a certain country on TV. Han Wenwen held a bag of potato chips in her hand, ate one and licked her fingers excitedly. This male lead is such a scumbag. He actually likes the female lead and the second female lead at the same time. Such a philandering man deserves to be beaten to death. He is incomparable to my brother Sehengren. Lin Sehengren, little He Qing cried, holding a tissue in her hand and sobbing. I think the female lead is so pitiful. She has no parents and supports the family alone. She finally meets love, but ends up with all kinds of misunderstandings with the male lead. Why does he treat the female lead like this? Zhang Zuli held a plate of fruit in her arms, blinked her proud eyes and complained about the 2 sisters. This plot is quite weird. It's weird and against the will of heaven, and it's good to watch. As a more mature woman, Zhang Jingxi is not very interested in this kind of TV series. She just wanted to hold Lin Sehengren's arm, staring at her boyfriend with gentle eyes, and asked with a smile, does Zhang think this TV series is good? Lin Sehengren looked at the plot and smiled. I can't describe it, but it's quite fun. Zhang Jingxi bit her lip and kissed Lin Sehengren's ear. I think so too. In fact, she didn't watch the plot at all. She just wanted to accompany her boyfriend. Zhang Jin held Lin Sehengren's arm on the left, with a cold and expressionless face. Why can't I understand what is being played at all? This female lead is so weak, she can't even do this little thing, and this male lead is also a waste. Why is he so fussy about doing things? Will girls really like such a boy? It's really not as good as a finger of Ranran. I don't understand why these actors take such a stupid play. Lin Sehengren smiled, thinking that it was a miracle that these 5 guys could be brought together by him. 5 people can have completely different opinions on the same TV series, but they still enjoy watching it. At this time, Zhang Jin accidentally saw the beautiful ring on her sister's left hand, and she was envious again. Curious, is this really a gift from Ranran? A few minutes later, Lin Sehengren said, I'm going to the bathroom. You guys get up first, everyone responded, and the 5 of them let go of Lin Sehengren so that he could go to the bathroom. Han Wenwen also asked mischievously, big or small? Do you want Wenwen to accompany brother Sehengren, the small one? I'll be back soon. After saying that, she knocked on the fox's head, and the little fox cried out. Zhang Jin looked at the direction where Lin Sehengren left, and after hesitating, she also said to the sisters, I'm going to the bathroom too, and I'll be back soon, because there are 3 bathrooms in the villa, one on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd floors. It can accommodate several people at the same time. The girls responded without thinking too much. because even though Jiang Jin had been intimate with Lin Sihengren, she seemed to be the purest one compared to the others. She had not even sneaked out recently, which made everyone less wary of Jiang Jin. Jiang Jin got up and followed Lin Sihengren, but after walking a few steps, she turned around and looked at her sister and other sisters. Her mouth was pursed inexplicably, and she continued to follow Lin Sihengren with a slightly red face. Jiang Jingshi, who was sitting on the sofa, unexpectedly noticed something at this time. She looked at her sister and Zhang, who had disappeared in confusion, and blinked curiously. At the corner of the stairs on the first floor, Lin Sihengren turned around and looked at Jiang Jin, who was following behind him, and asked, "Are you going to the bathroom too?" "Yes," Jiang Jin nodded. Lin Sihengren pointed to the stairs. "Then I'll go to the second floor, you can go to the first floor." "Yes," she nodded again, went into the bathroom and closed the door. As a result, just after Lin Sihengren went to the second floor, Jiang Jin suddenly opened the door and walked out of the bathroom quietly. "Go to the second floor. Come to Lin Sihengren's bathroom and stand in a daze." Lin Sihengren is not an ordinary person. While she was taking a dump, she noticed that there seemed to be someone outside. Her ability of perspective was activated. She found through the door that it was Jiang Jin standing outside and asked, "Qian? Why are you on the second floor? Aren't you going to the toilet on the first floor?" Jiang Jin, who was outside the door, looked up with a red face. "Run. Can I go in and talk to you?" Lin Sihengren said, "Okay, I'll be done soon." "Wait a minute, I don't want to wait, I want to go in now. You can do yours and I can do mine without affecting it." Lin Sihengren, Jiang Jin took out a bathroom key from her pocket. "Then I'll open the door and go in." "Hey Qian, why is she still carrying the key with her?" Jiang Jin had already opened the door and went in, and saw that Lin Sihengren was still going on. After all, boys can't stop at this time. Jiang Jin locked the door with a red face, and walked up to Lin Sihengren regardless of the embarrassment. "So boys are so convenient." Lin Sihengren looked at her with shame. "What are you going to do?" Jiang Jin, who was usually aloof, was a little shy at this moment. She clenched her fists and mustered up the courage to say, "Ring, did you give my sister the engagement ring? If so, I want it too." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 405, Time to Increase the Stakes. Lin Sihengren was curious whether he could ask for an engagement ring. However, considering Jiang Jin's little knowledge of such things, Lin Sihengren didn't care. Besides, it was really impossible to refuse when someone was convenient. "I gave it to you. You said you wanted it too. I was planning to find a good time to give it to you, but since you ask me, I'll give it to you now." Jiang Jin never thought that she could actually get it. She was very excited and nodded happily. "Thank you, Run. You're welcome. I've already given you the equipment. Then you go outside and wait. I'll get it for you right away." Jiang Jin was puzzled and lowered her head and stared at him again. "Why do you have to wait outside? What else do you want to do?" "I want to flush the toilet." "I'll flush it for you and wipe it for you." Wipe. Lin Sihengren felt that the other party was a little strange, and the sweat on his forehead was still there. "You don't just want the ring, right? Qian, do you have anything else to say?" Jiang Jin's face was getting redder and redder, and she shook her head slowly. "Nothing, just," she said as if she couldn't take her eyes away. Run. "I want to kiss you." Lin Sihengren looked at her eyes and realized that she was obsessed. But the time is not right, so he reminded her, "Qian, if we don't go back right away, they will come up soon. How about tomorrow?" Jiang Jin's cheeks flushed, but she looked at him coldly. "Don't go tomorrow. Everyone is sneaking out. I haven't sneaked out before. I want to sneak out too." Lin Sihengren grinned. There was really nothing he could do, and Jiang Jin, who was usually cold, looked cute when she said this. Lin Sihengren smiled. "Let's go to my study, okay?" She was very happy. At this time, Jiang Jingshi, who was in the living room on the first floor, noticed that Zhang and his sister had not come back yet. "Are boys so slow to go to the bathroom?" She also stood up and said to her sisters, "I'm going to the bathroom too." After that, she also went to the bathroom, but found that the bathroom on the first floor was empty. When she went to the second floor, it was empty again. However, Zhang's study was closed. Just as he was about to walk over, His phone dinged and received a message. It was from Lin Zhengren, Jingshi, Kyankian, and I won't go back to watch TV for the time being. We'll go back in an hour. The reason why he sent it to Zhang Jingshi was because Lin Zhengren saw Jingshi coming over with his perspective, so he had to remind her first so that she wouldn't be disturbed. Zhang Jingshi was stunned for a moment after seeing the message, and then she immediately reacted and replied jealously, Zhang, what are you and Kyankian doing in the study? Didn't you say you were going to the bathroom? Lin Zhengren's mobile phone sent another message, but this message was not sent by Lin Zhengren himself. Sister, I'm Kyankian, don't disturb me and Ranran for the time being. Good sister. Zhang Jingshi puffed her cheeks angrily, and immediately understood, and said self-deprecatingly, I just told you this in the morning, and you put it into practice in the evening. You're so quick. And this is the first time Kyankian called me good sister. She looked up and looked at the closed door of the study on the second floor from a distance. Although she couldn't see the scenery inside the door, Zhang Jingshi understood what the two were doing. She had no choice but to turn around and leave. As a result, after returning to the living room on the first floor, the TV show was suddenly paused, and the three little ones turned their heads to look at themselves. Han Wenwen asked meaningfully, Sister Zhang, what are Kyankian and Brother Zhengren doing? Zhang Jingshi smiled at the sister's questions, bit her lower lip and looked away, and had to tell the truth. That girl has also learned to sneak away. According to Zhang's habits, I guess they won't come down within an hour. The three little ones all looked jealous. The four sisters all sat on the sofa this time, but they had no intention of watching TV anymore. They all hugged their knees on the sofa and were in a daze. Suddenly Zhang Zuli said in a proud voice, Everyone, I have an idea. I wonder if I can raise it. Little He Qing's voice was soft and sticky. What idea? Zhang Zuli asked tentatively. You said that Zhengren's 6 hours a day is a bit too little? After all, he has 5 girlfriends. We only have sex a few times a week, including sneaking out. I think the 1 day a week we mentioned before should be added with a minimum time. Little He Qing lowered her head shyly, and her small hands drew circles on the sofa. Actually, I also think it's a bit too little. Lily is right. We should add a minimum time, and then others can't disturb us during this time. Han Wenwen smiled and said, Why don't we discuss it with Brother Zhengren? When it's the sisters' turn every week, set a minimum limit of 6 hours, Zhang Jingshi said in a gentle and deliberate voice. 7 hours is not too much? Zhang feels very good, and we can actually calculate it. Starting from 5 in the morning, 7 hours is only a morning until 12 noon. Zhang Zuli twirled her twin ponytails and said, If it's 8 hours a day, I think it's enough. 8 hours in the open plus sneaking out is about the same. The girls nodded and couldn't help laughing. Zhang Jingshi whispered, Then let's discuss it with Zhang after Zhang and Kyankian are intimate. Anyway, it doesn't matter if we watch less TV at night. It's more important to get busy with business, everyone agreed. An hour later, Lin Zhengren opened his eyes on the bed in the study. Zhang Jin slowly got out of the quilt, lay on Lin Zhengren, pursed her lips and swallowed saliva. Ranran, Lin Zhengren smiled and hugged her. Are you tired? Zhang Jin smiled and shook her head. No. She hugged Lin Zhengren's neck tightly and buried her face in his neck. I understand why couples like to sleep together every day. I think I like you more and more. Lin Zhengren touched Zhang Jin's long hair and said gently, I'll get you a ring. Zhang Jin's eyes lit up when she heard the ring. Lin Zhengren half got up and opened the drawer of the bedside table. There were 2 small boxes in it. Lin Zhengren took the small box on the right in his hand. After opening it, she smiled and took out a ring. You are the first one who asked me for it, but we still have to go through the process. Are you willing to marry me after graduation? Kyankian. Zhang Jin was flattered and looked at the beautiful diamond ring. She didn't like this kind of sparkling things before, but now she was so excited that her heart was pounding when she looked at the ring. Of course I am willing. There is nothing more willing than this. Seeing that she would not reach out, Lin Zhengren had to take her hand and help her put the ring on. Of course, Zhang Jin certainly couldn't wear it for a long time, because there was still the last little He Qing who didn't ask. Zhang Jin was curious, is there any He Qing who hasn't asked yet? When does Ranran plan to ask? This way everyone can wear the ring. Lin Zhengren actually thought about it a long time ago, because little He Qing is too considerate of others. As a result, the taekwondo competition she was supposed to participate in this year was scheduled for next year because she was afraid of conflicting with Lily Wenwen's competition. Lin Zhengren kept all these things in mind. After finishing Wenwen's competition and Zhang Jin's piano performance next week, he plans to go back to his hometown in the south with He Qing to meet his aunt and spend some time with the silly girl. Zhang Jin got dressed and was led back to the living room by Lin Suhengren. But he found that the other 4 girls had been waiting for Lin Suhengren, as if they wanted to say something to him. So after a while, Lin Suhengren sat in the middle of the sofa, and the 4 girls told him what they had just discussed. Lin Suhengren was surprised after hearing this. You mean when it's your turn to draw lots, you have to make out for at least 10 hours that day? Are you crazy? It means you don't do anything that day. The 4 girls didn't dare to talk back to Lin Suhengren, and they all lowered their heads. Zhang Zuli whispered, "Don't we still have 14 hours to do other things?" Zhang Jin said silently after hearing this, 10 hours is not too much? On average, it's equivalent to 2 hours per person per day for a week. Everyone, the girls, that makes sense. But Lin Suhengren looked at the 5 guys who were addicted, thinking that this was probably the price of being fickle. Fortunately, Lin Suhengren is not an ordinary person. "Okay, I'll be with you guys when I have nothing to do, so I'll do as you say. But if there is something to do, we must do business first." When the girls heard that Lin Suhengren actually agreed, they hugged Lin Suhengren happily. The revolution was victorious. Lin Suhengren thought that it was fortunate that he had a long life. Otherwise this time would not be enough, and 6 girlfriends was indeed the limit under the premise of treating everyone equally. Chapter 406 Live Match. You gave the princess a spiritual wedding ring, and your spiritual connection with the princess has reached the maximum. Your spiritual level increases by 1. Your current spiritual level is level 94. A week later, Han Wenwen's game live broadcast competition was held as scheduled. The whole network was paying attention. Since this live broadcast competition was also held by He Company, Lin Suhengren was very clear about all the rules. The purpose of the competition was similar to Lily's participation in the musicians program before, both of which were to increase the popularity of the anchors. Then if there are newcomers with really good skills, they can take this opportunity to participate in professional competitions through the company's introduction in the future. Imagine if Han Wenwen wins this competition. As a female anchor, if Han Wenwen can participate in professional competitions at a professional level, I'm afraid that the identity of this female anchor alone is enough to make her famous. After all, this is also the first female player in the history of the League of Legends game to participate in a professional competition at a hard level. If she wins another award, the popularity will be unprecedented. At this moment, the beautiful and handsome referees of the game live broadcast are playing the projections of thousands of live broadcast accounts on the whole network on the big screen. They held the microphone and faced tens of thousands of live viewers. Hello, audience friends, welcome to watch the online live broadcast Alliance Esports game competition held by He Company. For this competition, we have gathered a large number of game anchors from the entire network, a total of 7,413, and adopted the elimination system to select the strongest online live broadcast masters step by step. Whoever can stand out on this live broadcast competition and win the championship of this program can win the cash prize of 1.7 million yuan provided by He Company. The runner-up and third place can also win the prizes of 700,000 and 200,000 yuan respectively. Okay, let's not talk nonsense. Let's first introduce the basic rules of this competition. The referee described various basic rules on the platform. Various bullet comments flew across the screen. Such a big competition. This He Company really spent a lot of money. Yes, several of my favorite anchors have come to participate in the competition. This competition is worth watching. This competition is so big. Although foreign professional players cannot participate, if they can win, they can definitely represent the strongest level in China. Facing the rolling bullet comments and the prelude to the start of the competition, Han Wenwen, who was wearing headphones around her neck in front of the screen, was still a little nervous. The little fox let out a long breath. Then she turned off the live broadcast sound, turned away from the camera, and acted coquettishly to Lin Suhengren beside her. "Brother Suhengren, I'm a little nervous." She hugged Lin Suhengren and clung to him. Lin Suhengren smiled and touched Han Wenwen's head with his hand, and the little fox's invisible tail swayed. "I'm always here with you, don't be afraid. Your current level has long been out of the level of ordinary anchors. As long as you play normally and lay a foundation for the top 4, after you win the top 4, I will help you observe and familiarize yourself with other people's playing methods, and there is a good chance of winning the championship." Han Wenwen rubbed her face against Lin Suhengren's neck, Brother Zhengren, I will do my best." She looked up and looked at Lin Zhengren, and the two kissed each other's lips lightly. Lin Zhengren smiled and said, "Okay, don't leave the screen for too long, it's live." Han Wenwen nodded, kissed Lin Zhengren's face again, and then sat back down and looked at the screen seriously. She secretly held Lin Zhengren's hand under the table and waited for the game to start. The first match was the elimination match. There were thousands of anchors, all good and bad. The elimination match adopted a one-game winning system. That is, a random 5-on-5 match. The winning anchors entered the next round, and the losers were eliminated directly. Although it was a bit cruel to decide the winner in one game. But because there were too many anchors participating in this competition, in order to complete this competition within 10 days, the early stage of the fight was inevitable, and if there were mistakes or other situations caused by themselves, they could just blame themselves. Among the thousands of anchors, more than a dozen were professional domestic league players, and many were retired players. If they were matched with these people, most small anchors would almost certainly lose. Han Wenwen was lucky. In the first match, she was matched with some unknown anchors, and only one had a slightly larger number of fans, 500,000 fans. So compared to them, Han Wenwen was the one with the largest number of fans. The referee switched the screen and saw Han Wenwen. Let's take a look at the game here first. Among the players this time, there is a female anchor with millions of fans, Fox Wenwen. But it seems that Wenwen chose a shooter. Seeing the name, I thought she was a middling fox. And Wenwen is very beautiful. Let's look forward to Wenwen's level. Many of Han Wenwen's fans came to watch the game today. Because the game requires real people to appear on camera, Han Wenwen is also one of the few who doesn't use a suit and shows her face seriously to play the game. Every time Han Wenwen kills or has a highlight operation, fans will even immediately feed gifts. Everyone shouted supportive words such as "Come on, Wenwen is invincible, Wenwen is the most beautiful." As Lin Zhengren expected, Han Wenwen's level is no longer something that ordinary people can touch. She can easily dominate the game in the anchor competition. She even played a thrilling 1-on-3 operation in the elimination round. The audience cheered and felt that she was worthy of being the first female anchor of the new generation. After that, Han Wenwen pushed all the way. In 3 days, she successfully entered the top 100. The most thrilling one was the top 100 round, where the teammates, junglers, top laners and mid laners were all at a disadvantage. Wenwen's bottom lane situation was not good either. Everyone was worried about Han Wenwen, and even Han Wenwen herself was nervous. Fortunately, Lin Zhengren was whispering to Han Wenwen how to break through. The little fox absolutely believed in Lin Zhengren, and did not doubt Lin Zhengren's words at all in this desperate situation. As a result, he successfully replaced the two big output positions on the opposite side in a big dragon map, and also took down the big dragon. The situation was reversed immediately. After this wave, the screen was almost full. Oh my god. Wenwen 666. Wenwen is invincible. Is this female anchor so strong? I didn't see it before. I became a fan. I found a treasure. What a strong operation. What a beautiful female anchor. I also became a fan. This will be my goddess from now on. Wenwen is the strongest. Wenwen is the strongest. Lin Zhengren was looking at Han Wenwen's number of fans on his mobile phone. After 3 days of competition, the original 1 million fans have now exceeded 2 million. Sure enough, this match can greatly increase Wenwen's popularity. Facing the enthusiasm of fans, Han Wenwen also smiled and waved at the screen every time she died or returned to the city. Her smile made millions of netizens excited. At noon on the 4th day of the competition, Han Wenwen successfully won a game, and there was no game for her today. The rest were other people's games. Han Wenwen said goodbye to the audience and logged off the live broadcast. She immediately threw herself into Lin Zhengren's arms and smiled happily. Brother Zhengren, I won again. Chapter 407 Familiar Figure. Wenwen is awesome. Lin Zhengren hugged her as a reward, and Han Wenwen happily rubbed her head in his arms. After hugging for a while, Han Wenwen yawned. I'm a little sleepy. I'm a little tired from the competitions these days. I want to sleep in Brother Zhengren's arms. Well, then you can sleep for a while. Anyway, you don't have any other competitions today, so take a rest. Thank you, Brother Zhengren. Brother Zhengren is so good to Wenwen. The little fox got up from her seat and sat directly on Lin Zhengren's legs, and then her upper body softly got into Lin Zhengren's shirt. She was closest to him and bit his neck before closing her eyes to rest. She felt safe in the arms of her beloved man, and she fell asleep the fastest. Lin's Hengren slowly patted Han Wenwen's back and coaxed her to sleep. Go to sleep, Wenwen. Soon, he heard the sound of steady breathing. He casually looked at the game that was still going on the computer screen. It happened that a new round of competition had begun, and 10 contestants were ready to enter the game. Originally, he was just looking around and was going to turn off the screen, but Lin's Hengren unexpectedly saw a strange anchor, and his eyes changed slightly. It was a short-haired girl wearing headphones. The girl was staring at the screen in the picture. She was wearing short sleeves and looked ordinary, but she was very serious about the game. This girl alone did not surprise Lin's Hengren. What surprised him was that behind this short-haired girl, Lin's Hengren just saw a white-haired girl passing by the short-haired girl for a moment. Although it was only a moment, he would never be wrong with his eyesight. The figure and appearance of this white-haired girl were exactly the girl that Lin's Hengren saw when he first went to the villa area where Jiang Jingshi lived. And it was also similar to the figure of the white-haired girl described by Zhang Zuli. It even looked like this white-haired girl was coaching this short-haired girl in the game, just like he coached Wenwen. Lin's Hengren curiously clicked on the live broadcast account of this short-haired girl, wanting to see her information. It turns out that the live broadcast company the other party works for is called ZIAO Entertainment. ZIAO Entertainment. Lin's Hengren also remembered this name. Isn't this the company from another province that Jiang Jin reminded him of before? It is said that a new company that has recently appeared in another province and is doing the same project as Jiangxi Company and Jiang Group. Qian was still very alert to it. Is it such a coincidence? Everything this girl does is related to what I want to do. He stared at the screen of the short-haired girl, but he didn't see the figure of the white-haired girl again. Just at this time, there was a knock on the door outside, and Lin's Hengren looked back. Jiang Jin's cold voice came from outside the door. Of course it's me. Are you still playing? Is it inconvenient for me to go in? Lin's Hengren looked at Han Wenwen who was already asleep in his arms, and replied, I'm resting, come in. Jiang Jin pushed the door open after hearing this, and saw Han Wenwen sleeping in Lin's Hengren's shirt at a glance, and was visibly surprised. It turns out that you can still be intimate with your boyfriend like this? It's so comfortable to watch. I learned something again. Jiang Jin closed the door lightly and came to Lin's Hengren. She lowered her voice. Is Wenwen asleep? Lin's Hengren touched Han Wenwen's head. Well, she's been very exhausted from the competition these days. Is Qian busy? Jiang Jin responded and whispered, I'm not going to participate in the piano performance tonight. I have to go to rehearsal in advance. Will you accompany me or stay here with the Wenwen? Lin's Hengren asked. Rehearsal so early? Jiang Jin explained. Normally, the performers will familiarize themselves with the venue first, but the performance will not start until the evening. Otherwise, you can accompany Wenwen in the afternoon and come to me in the evening. Lin's Hengren smiled. Since I promised to accompany you, I can't go back on my word. Wait a minute. He lowered his head to look at Han Wenwen's sleeping face and called softly, Wenwen? Wenwen. Han Wenwen slept soundly. After being called twice, she talked in her sleep. Brothers Hengren. Dear Wenwen, I want to give birth to several litters of little foxes for Brothers Hengren. Wenwen loves Brothers Hengren so much her words made Jiang Jin blush, and the 5 girls started to act coquettishly. Wenwen said she was second, and no one dared to say she was first. Anyone who saw the fox-like girl talking like this would be moved. Wenwen. Lin's Hengren patted the back of her hand again. Han Wenwen finally moved her eyes this time, and smiled at Lin's Hengren in a daze, and kissed him. Brothers Hengren? What's wrong? Why am I awake? Lin's Hengren explained, I want to tell you something. Doesn't Qian have a piano performance tonight? She has to rehearse in the afternoon. I promised to accompany her before and I can't break my promise. You just sleep in your room obediently in the afternoon, and I will accompany you after Qian finishes the performance. Okay. Han Wenwen looked at Jiang Jin who was standing next to her and smiled. Qian is here too. Jiang Jin replied, I just came over. Although Han Wenwen was jealous that Lin's Hengren spent less time with her, there were so many sisters, and they must coordinate their time. She nodded. Okay, then Brothers Hengren and Qian should come back early tonight and continue to accompany me in the competition tomorrow. Got it. Han Wenwen hugged Lin's Hengren's neck, her red lips exuding fragrance and charmingly said, but I have to kiss you for a while before Wenwen lets Brothers Hengren go. Lin's Hengren kissed Han Wenwen's lips without hesitation, and the two of them stayed with Jiang Jin to be intimate. Jiang Jin also subconsciously looked aside and waited for a while. Lin's Hengren said goodbye to Han Wenwen and left the room with Jiang Jin. Standing outside the room, Lin's Hengren walked to the bedroom. I'm going to change clothes. You wait a moment. Jiang Jin grabbed the corner of his clothes. Lin's Hengren was surprised that Jiang Jin also learned it. The cold girl actually learned to act like a spoiled child. Brother Ranrun, I want a kiss too. Lin's Hengren smiled helplessly. He had to hug Jiang Jin and kiss her lips. After a brief intimate moment, Lin's Hengren asked, "Are you done?" Jiang Jin was satisfied, her cheeks flushed. "Okay, then go change your clothes. I'll wait for you in the car." "Okay." Lin's Hengren returned to the bedroom and saw Xiao Heqing packing clothes in the closet. Lin's Hengren, her voice was soft and sticky. Lin's Hengren walked over and said, "I'm going to accompany Kyankian out for a while. She has to attend a piano recital tonight. Please pick out some clothes for me." Xiao Heqing nodded obediently. "Okay, should I wear formal clothes for the recital?" "No need to be so formal. I'm not performing. I'll just be casual." Xiao Heqing looked for clothes for Lin's Hengren in the closet. "I see, then this one. It will look very handsome when I wear it." Lin's Hengren smiled and nodded. Looking at the clothes, he inexplicably thought of the white-haired girl. Although the other party did not have a conflict with him at present, so many coincidences were obviously abnormal, plus what Lily had conveyed before. It was obvious that the other party was coming for him. And that song. How did this girl learn Lily's singing skills? It stands to reason that the skills I taught would be almost impossible to learn without long-term contact with Lily. Even if one is talented, those pronunciation skills can only be learned by close observation. Chapter 408 Performance. I took a car with Jiang Jin to the piano concert hall. In the car, Jiang Jin explained why she came here to perform. She said that the piano performance itself was just an excuse, and the point was that many bosses in the business circle would use this occasion to get together. So every time she finished her piano performance, her father, mother, and sister would deal with those bosses off the stage to talk business. Bosses who want to get close to my parents and sister will also take the opportunity to come to them under the name of listening to my piano. They expand their business circles. Lin's Hengren reacted when he heard this. I said Jingxi said she had something to go out this morning. Is she going to the concert hall too? Jiang Jin hummed. My parents didn't come today, only my sister will go. Did she tell you? Lin's Hengren smiled and shook his head. I guess she wanted to give me a surprise. Now the company's diplomatic affairs are basically still handled by Jingxi. Such occasions are indeed very convenient for Jingxi. The two came to the concert hall, and sure enough, Jingxi had changed her clothes and was waiting here. She hurriedly greeted Lin's Hengren and smiled gently. Zhang. Kyankian, you are here. Lin's Hengren walked up to Jingxi. You didn't even tell me you were here. Jingxi smiled. I wanted to give you a surprise, but it seems like you already knew it. Did Kyankian tell you? Jiang Jin said indifferently. I let it slip. Sorry, sister. Jingxi looked at her sister's indifferent look and did not see any apology on Kyankian's face at all. Jingxi asked Lin's Hengren, when I came here just now, I had already chatted with several bosses. Do you want to meet them too? Some of them came quite early, and they also asked me about you. Lin's Hengren, no need for me. They didn't know I would be here, and it would be troublesome to leave some contact information. Besides, you are fully responsible for the company's diplomatic affairs. I am only responsible for showing up when the company discusses contracts. Even if I leave contact information today, I will give it to you in the end. Jingxi thought for a while and said, this is a good idea. Now the industry says that Mr. Lin, the general manager of Jiangxi Company, is very mysterious. It is not easy to meet you. Keeping a little mystery will be conducive to business negotiations. Lin's Hengren reached out and stroked Jingxi's head. Jingxi felt the other party's love, thinking that Zhang really liked to do this kind of thing like coaxing a little girl. She reminded her sister, the performance will start in 3 hours. Kyankian has to go backstage to prepare. Jiang Jin said coldly, don't worry, the performance doesn't take that long to rehearse, and if I leave during these 3 hours, my sister will sneak out. Right, Jingxi was stunned. She really wanted to sneak out. Smile, how could that be? Jiang Jin looked at her sister. Really, sister? You won't sneak out? 3 hours is too long. Jingxi's forehead was sweating. Of course it's true. Today is Kyankian's performance day. Jiang Jin said calmly. I don't believe it. Jingxi. She pouted. Her sister has been a little difficult recently. Lin Zhengren smiled and said, Jingxi, let's accompany Kaianqian to rehearsal and listen to her play the piano. Lin Zhengren said that most of the sisters would listen. And if the three of them went together, they would not be afraid of anyone sneaking out. They went to the exclusive backstage together. Zhang Jin's status is special, so even the rehearsal room staff arranged a separate room for her. After entering the room, Lin Zhengren and Zhang Jingxi sat on the sofa beside them. Zhang Jingxi took Lin Zhengren's arm and held his hand. Listening to Zhang Jin playing on the piano, she tried to see if there was any problem with the piano, because professional piano performances would take a long time, especially tonight Zhang Jin's personal performance would take about an hour. So all the details must be ensured to be foolproof. The beautiful piano sound came slowly, and Lin Zhengren smiled. Zhang Jingxi slowly leaned her head on Lin Zhengren's shoulder, looking at her sister's elegant figure. Zhang Jin was very involved in playing the piano, and was also very surprised. Unexpectedly, her current level has improved a lot compared to before. It's just like what her sister Ranran said, since the first time she was intimate with Ranran. Her speed of learning and understanding of various things has increased several times. Assuming that she can maintain this state in the future, she thinks that if she practices for a few more years, even participating in a national-level piano competition will not be a problem. Simply adjust the state and confirm that there is no problem with the piano. Zhang Jin stopped, turned around and sat down next to Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren was curious, why don't you play anymore? You've only played 2 songs. Zhang Jingxi was also curious, yeah, why doesn't Kaianqian play anymore? Zhang Jin looked at her sister who is resting her head on her boyfriend's shoulder, her cold eyes filled with jealousy. Just a simple rehearsal will do, and I can't play anymore with my sister clinging to Ranran next to me. After that, she also took Lin Zhengren's arm and leaned her head on Lin Zhengren's shoulder. Lin Zhengren looked at the 2 sisters speechlessly. You two are really so stupid, so what is the purpose of us coming here so early? Isn't it just to practice the piano? Zhang Jin was direct. No, I was planning to sneak out, but I can't sneak out with my sister here. Zhang Jingxi listened to what Zhang Jin said, looked ahead and laughed. She actually did the same. She also planned to take advantage of her sister practicing the piano and secretly have a close relationship with Lin Zhengren, but now it is obviously impossible. Lin Zhengren was in the middle, feeling the fragrance of each of the sisters. Knowing what they were thinking, he smiled and said, forget it, then you two can just lean on my shoulders and rest for a while. It's not bad to sit and rest for a while. The 2 sisters nodded together. Even if they didn't do anything, simply leaning against each other and holding hands was actually a very beautiful thing for Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingxi. They closed their eyes and slowly fell asleep like Han Wenwen at noon, cultivating their spirits. 3 hours later, the sunset gradually set. The piano performance officially began. At this moment, the hall was full of people. Zhang Jingxi and Lin Zhengren also found a seat and sat down. They waited together for Kaianqian to appear. Lin Zhengren asked, speaking of which, among the piano pieces Kaianqian play today, there are few that require ensembles, right? Who will be the ensemblers? Zhang Jingxi replied. It is said that she was selected from the competition held by the concert hall itself, because it is difficult for ordinary people to play with Kaianqian, at least they have to have a very good level. Lin Zhengren, but we didn't see this person backstage just now. Zhang Jingxi also felt strange after hearing this. Yes, as an ensembler, she should have come to greet Kaianqian earlier, but we didn't see her. The piano performance was about to begin, and Zhang Jin walked to the stage, attracting applause from everyone. Zhang Jin, who was wearing a formal evening gown, half bowed to everyone, and then sat elegantly in front of the piano. Not far behind Zhang Jin, a secondary piano for the ensemble was also lit up. A beautiful white-haired girl in an evening gown also half bowed to everyone and sat on the secondary piano. Lin Zhengren and Zhang Jingxi's pupils both dilated. Zhang Jingxi was surprised. Who is this girl? Chapter 409 Meeting. The white-haired girl wore a pure white evening dress, with long hair draped over her shoulders, a tall nose bridge, red lips, and a pair of dreamy eyes that made people unable to help but stare at her, and people could not help but marvel at her beauty. As an accompaniment, she had to play the first half of the piano before Zhang Jin. When her slender fingers fell on the keys, her skillful and beautiful sound came out. Zhang Jingxi was surprised. Could this white-haired girl be the girl that Lily mentioned before? This was the first time that Lin Zhengren saw the face of the white-haired girl. The girl's face was thin, and her long eyelashes trembled with a posture of playing. She was incredibly beautiful. Lin's Hengren frowned slightly. He would not be wrong. The figure of this white-haired girl was exactly the same as the figure that he saw when Wenwen was competing. It was also exactly the same as the girl he saw when he first went to Zhang Jingshi's villa. It should be her. Zhang Jingshi stared at the other person carefully. What a beautiful girl. Zhang Zheng, have you seen this girl before? Judging from her age, she should be about the same age as you. When Lin Hengren first arrived at Tsinghua University, although he did not have the ability of perspective at that time, but he clearly felt that this girl was following him, but later she disappeared and never appeared again. If you think so, the other party should also be a student of Tsinghua University. However, although Lin Hengren has never seen this girl's face, he inexplicably feels familiar. Zhang Jin and the white-haired girl's ensemble continued. Zhang Jingshi and Lin Hengren listened quietly. Zhang Jingshi sighed again. This girl's piano playing is also so good, just like her previous singing level is very high. If she is well trained in the future, I think her talent is limitless. The audience around heard the two people's ensemble and were amazed. Although most people were amazed at Zhang Jin's piano level, many people also heard that the accompaniment was also an absolute genius. Otherwise, such a beautiful piano ensemble could not be played. Even Zhang Jin herself was surprised that the accompaniment level was very strong this time. After several perfect ensemble piano pieces, all the audience applauded. Zhang Jin and the white-haired girl stood up and half bowed. The white-haired girl looked up at Lin Hengren in the crowd and looked at him. She smiled, while Lin Hengren's eyes trembled, as if he had discovered something. Then Zhang Jin continued to perform solo as the main performer. The white-haired girl left the stage quietly. Lin Hengren said to Zhang Jingshi, "Jingshi, you continue to look at Kaianqian here, I'm going out for a while." Zhang Jingshi stretched out her hand in confusion. "Zhang Zheng, where are you going?" Lin Hengren, "To meet this girl." Zhang Jingshi blinked twice, and then suddenly became jealous, puffing her cheeks. "What do you mean? Why do you want to meet her?" "Just because she looks pretty." Lin Hengren smiled and held her hand. "What a mess. I'll tell you when I come back. If nothing goes wrong, I may know this girl." "You know her?" Zhang Jingshi was surprised to hear that Zhang Zheng knew her, and since Lin Hengren had spoken, she couldn't stop him. "Then come back soon." Lin Hengren nodded. "Got it." He stood up and walked out of the venue. On the way, Lin Hengren was very curious about the identity of this girl, because just now he felt that the other party was familiar, so he used perspective to look at the girl's figure. Then he found that she was very similar to some details of someone. Lin Hengren came to the backstage of the piano performance alone, walked through the long corridor until he came to a small door. Lin Hengren looked at the small door and walked over. The small door was connected to a garden outside the concert hall, under the already dark night sky. The lights in the garden made the flowers in the garden full of mystery. The white-haired girl stood next to the half-wall of lilies with her back to Lin Hengren. Her long silver-white hair made her profile look more delicate. She knew Lin Hengren was coming, so she turned to look at Lin Hengren. The two looked at each other at a distance of about 10 steps. Lin Hengren asked, "Who are you?" The white-haired girl was a little nervous at first, afraid that the other party would recognize her, but Lin Hengren's question put her at ease. She breathed a sigh of relief. Sure enough, her makeup skills were still excellent. "He didn't recognize me." The white-haired girl adjusted her voice and spoke in a dreamy tone. "It doesn't matter who I am. You? Why did you come to find me?" Lin Hengren heard her voice and the corners of his mouth twitched. "Because you want me to come to you, right? Did you talk a lot to Lily when she went to participate in the musician competition? You also wrote a song, and you have also participated in Wenwen's competition these days, right? I saw you show up." The white-haired girl faced Lin Hengren with a slight blush on her face. "I didn't expect you to notice all of this." "Yes, I have been around you recently, just to get your attention," Lin Hengren commented. "Your method of getting people's attention is quite scary, and it's always done without anyone noticing." The white-haired girl smiled. "At least it works, isn't it? Did you take the initiative to come to see me? And you aroused your curiosity about me. Did I sing a good song?" Lin Hengren admitted, "It's good, and it's infinitely close to Lily's level. You know, I taught Lily for a long time, but you have achieved this level by learning on your own." The white-haired girl was happy to be praised by Lin Hengren. She said thank you and asked, "How was my piano performance just now?" "It sounds pretty good." Lin Hengren told the truth. "It's very close to Kaianqian's level." And I think you're good at playing games, right? I see that the anchor you trained has a very high level of gaming skills. I'm afraid she will become Wenwen's rival in a few days, Lin's Hengren exclaimed. To be honest, I've met so many girls, and none of them is as proficient in everything as you. It's a bit unexpected for me. The white-haired girl smiled, turned around, picked a lily, turned it gently in her hand, and stared at the lily. Really? But knowing everything also means knowing nothing, right? I'm a little worse than everyone else, at least that's what I thought before. The white-haired girl hummed, her voice gentle. I asked Lily to convey it to me before. I like you. I have liked you for a long time. When a girl likes someone, she will unconsciously want to get close to him and want to show him her strengths and special qualities. But I used to think that I really didn't have any strengths, and even my personality was mediocre. Until, she looked at Lin's Hengren again. I accidentally discovered some time ago that the reason why these girls around you are so amazing is not because they are naturally talented, but because they have all been taught by you, right? Classmate Lin's Hengren, do you have any superpowers? Can you activate the inner potential of girls? For example, Zhang Jin's piano level is much higher than before after she was with you. You know, half a year ago, my level was comparable to Zhang Jin's, but just now I heard that she has improved a lot. Lin's Hengren made up an excuse and said perfunctorily, how can there be any superpowers in this world? Maybe it's because of the relationship. When men and women are together, they feel good and their learning ability will naturally become stronger. The white-haired girl smiled and said, no matter what the reason is, since I found out that everyone became stronger after being taught by you, I suddenly had an idea. Maybe it's not that I don't have advantages, but I didn't meet you earlier. Classmate Lin's Hengren, if you didn't know He Qing, Han Wenwen, Zhang Zuli, Zhang Jin, and Zhang Jingxi, but only knew me, could I perfectly replace everything they are doing now? Because I have talents in music, martial arts, business, and games. Lin's Hengren thought about it and smiled. Maybe, I really didn't think that someone would have so many talents at the same time, he added, but you are wrong about one thing. Even if you have all the advantages, you can't replace them. I like He Qing, Wenwen, Lily, Qianqian, and Jingxi not because of their advantages, but because of what? The white-haired girl was really curious. Lin's Hengren wanted to say something, but paused and said, I won't tell you. The white-haired girl suddenly froze, looked at Lin's Hengren angrily, turned her head and snorted mischievously, forget it. Anyway, my plan is very successful so far. You are starting to care about me now, and you take the initiative to talk to me. I think you will definitely like me if this goes on, she said seriously. Okay, let me make a bet with you. Zhang Zuli, Zhang Jin and Han Wenwen have already gone, and then there are only He Qing and Zhang Jingxi left. If I can beat He Qing in the future taekwondo competition and beat Zhang Jingxi in business, how about you go on a date with me, beat He Qing and Jingxi in the areas you are good at? Impossible, although you have a lot of talent, you can't beat them both. After all, you have practiced to this level by learning from them, which is equivalent to just imitating. You are not good at this. Feng Men. The white-haired girl was not convinced. Do you underestimate me? Do you dare to bet? Okay, Lin's Hengren nodded. If you can win, let alone a date, I will accompany you to do whatever you want. The white-haired girl was happy. You said it. It's a deal. As soon as she finished speaking, footsteps were suddenly heard outside the small door. The white-haired girl heard it and said to Lin's Hengren, I should go now. Classmate Lin's Hengren, see you at the taekwondo competition. I will beat both of them to prove it to you. Seeing that she was about to leave, Lin's Hengren asked, what if you don't win? The white-haired girl stopped and turned around and said, then I will do whatever you say. I will be your puppy and even sleep with you. Lin's Hengren was surprised and smiled. It's a deal. Chapter 410 Girl. The white-haired girl left through another small door in the garden. As the footsteps got closer, Zhang Jin, who was wearing a black evening dress, appeared behind Lin's Hengren. Of course, Lin's Hengren stared at the direction where the white-haired girl left, slightly curious about how she managed to dress like this. Makeup? And dyed hair? It really gave people a different feeling. Looking back at Zhang Jin, Qianqian? How did you get here? Zhang Jin slowed down and walked to the other side. Half time, who are you talking to just now? I heard your voice, with a girl who accompanied you. She has a good talent for piano, but now she is gone. Zhang Jin was surprised. The one who accompanied me? Indeed, when she was playing just now, I found that her ability was similar to mine. I didn't know that there were peers with such a level in this city before, Linz Hengren asked curiously. You haven't met peers of this level? Well, anyway, I have participated in many competitions, but I haven't met anyone with a similar level to me. By the way, can Fang Meng play the piano? She stays with you every day. Jiang Jin shook her head. No, although Xiao Meng has been by my side since she was a child, she has never touched the piano. At most, she just stood by and listened when I played the piano. Why did you suddenly ask about Xiao Meng? Just asking casually, the girl hid it so well. At this time, the sound of high heels came from the distance, faster than Jiang Jin's footsteps. Linz Hengren and Jiang Jin looked up and found that it was Jiang Jingshi. Jiang Jingshi saw that there was no one else around and asked, Qianqian is here too? Zhang Zheng, where's that girl? Linz Hengren, she has left. I chatted with her briefly. Do you know her? Linz Hengren thought for a moment. The girl had changed her clothes and put on makeup that made it unrecognizable. He didn't know what she was up to. Linz Hengren planned to see what she was up to. He deliberately concealed the truth and said, I thought she was someone I knew, but after chatting for a while, I realized that I recognized the wrong person. Jiang Jingshi blinked her gentle eyes helplessly. Well, such a talented girl is rare. If possible, we can sign her to our company. I will go to the concert hall later to get a contact number, but, she stared at Linz Hengren with some jealousy, as if to see what Linz Hengren thought of the girl. After all, Lily said that the girl liked Zhang Zhen. Linz Hengren knew what Jiang Jingshi was thinking, and stroked her cheek with a smile. Okay, there's nothing else to do here. Qianqian is tired after playing for so long. Let's find a place to sit and rest. The intermission is only 15 minutes in total. The two girls nodded, and the three of them left the garden together. Before leaving, Jiang Jingshi looked back at the huge concert hall garden and commented, the flowers here are much more beautiful this year than in previous years. Jiang Jin asked coldly, Ranran, how was my performance tonight? Do you think it sounded good? Of course, it's getting better and better, thank you. Jiang Jin was happy. After the three left, at the quiet garden door, the white-haired girl once again showed half of her body from the corner. She looked at Linz Hengren and the Jiang sisters who were leaving with infatuation. She looked down at the snow-white lily in her hand, turned and complained, Linz Hengren, I will definitely not lose this time, and I will definitely make you look at me with new eyes. She put the lily back into the pot and turned to leave. Tonight, Jiang Jin's piano performance went smoothly and received great praise from the audience. Jiang Jingshi also negotiated 2 or 3 business deals after the performance. One night passed in a hurry. The next morning, Friday, the warm sunshine shone on the earth. In a spacious rental house in Zidong City, a white-haired girl in white pajamas was lying on the double bed in a dream. The quilt covering her was not flat, with only a small piece covering her stomach. Some of her long hair was scattered on her body, and some covered her side face. In her dream, it was the scene of the conversation with Linz Hengren last night. Winning He Qing and Jingshi in the field you are good at? Impossible, although you have a lot of talent, you can't beat them both. You underestimate me? Do you dare to bet with me? Her fingers moved slightly, with a slight dissatisfaction on her face. Until a phone ring rang and woke the white-haired girl. She opened her eyes in a daze, fumbled for the phone under the pillow, and saw that the caller was her mother and quickly picked up the phone. But the tone of her voice was obviously different from last night, no longer so dreamy, but more ordinary. Hello, Mom? What's wrong? The woman on the phone asked. Are you still awake? Don't you have classes this morning? What time is it? I have classes in the morning but there's no rush, too lazy. By the way, tomorrow is the weekend, are you going home? The white-haired girl frowned and closed her eyes again. Didn't you just go back last week? I won't go back this week, I have other things to do, the woman responded. Are you sure you won't come back? But we plan to go to your Uncle Lin's house tomorrow, and it is said that Zhengren will also be back. The white-haired girl opened her eyes when she heard someone's name. Are you going to Linz Hengren's house tomorrow? The woman knew that her daughter still liked the boy. Every time she mentioned him, her daughter would be stunned for a moment, and nodded with a smile. Well, so do you want to go with your parents? The white-haired girl changed her mind almost in an instant. Then I'll go home tomorrow and go together. The woman couldn't help but smile in her voice. Okay, then when you get home tomorrow, we'll go together. Oh okay, goodbye, Mom, goodbye, don't stay in bed, it's time to get up. Okay, got it. After hanging up the phone, the girl let out a long breath. Looking up at the ceiling, The girl's face was clearly visible in the sunlight. Without makeup, without the details of the makeup transformation, the face at this moment has become its original appearance. Feng Meng's appearance. The white-haired girl, or Feng Meng, slowly sat up from the bed, turned around and slid to the side of the bed. With her snow-white and clean feet and slippers, she went to the bathroom. When passing by the mirror in the bathroom, she looked at her face and closed the door to go to the bathroom. A few minutes later, the sound of a flushing toilet appeared, and Feng Meng walked out of the bathroom, brushing her teeth, washing her face and washing her mouth. When the cold water soaked her cheeks, she finally became a little more sober. The scene in the garden last night reappeared in front of her eyes. Feng Meng complained about herself. When did I become so tough? I would say things like, "What, you are not convinced?" To classmate Lin Sehengren. She wiped her face with a towel and returned to the bedroom. Since Zhang Jin moved in with Lin Sehengren and no longer rented a house, Feng Meng was the only one left in this rental house. It was so spacious. She combed her hair with her fingers, went back to the bedroom to find her usual clothes, and found a wig to press her long hair up. She picked up the wig with a side ponytail and went back to the bathroom to put it on in front of the mirror. In an instant, she was completely back to her usual self and smiled. "Since the bed is already made, I must win this time." Qian Qian said that there is nothing you can't win as long as you want to win. Besides, I'm not competing with classmate Lin Sehengren, but only with He Qing and the eldest lady. You must have confidence. Chapter 411 Feng Meng's Fantasy. Feng Meng drove to the parking lot near the school and parked. She got off the car and went to the classroom for class. In the lively classroom, many classmates had already arrived, and Feng Meng also found a seat to sit down. She glanced at the direction where someone usually sat, and it was obvious that they had not arrived yet. She took out a notebook from her bag where she had recorded the characteristics of everyone before. The characteristics of all the girls around Lin Sehengren were all on it. But after so long, she still couldn't find the common points of this group of people, and couldn't figure out what Lin Sehengren liked about girls. Speaking of which, Lin Sehengren almost told me last night, just a little bit short. Feng Meng felt that there was no need to keep this notebook. She had read the contents on it countless times and knew them by heart. And if it was lost one day, it would be troublesome if someone picked it up. She read it again for the last time, took out a marker with a very thick stroke, and erased all the words on it. After making sure that the handwriting was completely invisible, Feng Meng tore it into pieces and put them in her bag, ready to throw it away after school. Familiar footsteps came from the door, and Feng Meng immediately sat up straighter. Sure enough, it was Lin Sehengren who came with He Qing, Zhang Jin and others. They chatted and laughed and found a seat in the back row. From a distance, Zhang Jin also greeted Feng Meng. Feng Meng smiled at Zhang Jin and waved. Lin Sehengren also looked over here, and Feng Meng's cheeks were rosy and she also waved at Lin Sehengren. Lin Sehengren nodded and greeted very casually, and began to read extracurricular books that others could not understand. The class bell rang and the teacher entered the classroom. The lecture was quiet in the large classroom. Next, let's talk about this knowledge point. Feng Meng listened to the class while secretly glancing at Lin Sehengren in the distance. From a distance, I didn't know what Han Wenwen said to Lin Sehengren, so Lin Sehengren raised his hand and knocked Han Wenwen on the head. Han Wenwen was in pain and lay on the table with her head in her arms, acting coquettishly, with her invisible tail swaying. After hitting her, Lin Sehengren had to touch the fox's head to coax her. This series of subtle little movements made Feng Meng's heart beat. She was not attracted by Lin Sehengren's pat on the head, but by the slap from Lin Sehengren. Lin Sehengren's hand was so strong, it must be very comfortable to be slapped. Being slapped in the butt, being scolded, or being pressed against the wall by him, or being thrown on the bed by him without mercy. Feng Meng felt embarrassed just thinking about it. She especially remembered that in high school, there was a time when Lin Sehengren pressed Feng Meng on the bed, and his huge strength made her wrist hurt. That scene made Feng Meng unforgettable for a long time, and it was also the first time she discovered what a fetish was. She was very happy to be bullied by the boy she liked with violence, but it was a pity that Lin Sehengren was too gentlemanly. Since then, he has never done similar things to her again. Even after going to college, she had less and less contact with Lin Sehengren, and they didn't even talk much, let alone similar things. At noon, the morning class ended. Feng Meng went to the cafeteria to eat like everyone else. When she got up, Lin Sehengren happened to pass by Feng Meng. "Going to eat?" he asked. Feng Meng was flattered and quickly replied, "Yes, let's go to eat." "Will Lin Zhengren go to the cafeteria with Kaianqian and the others?" "Lin Zhengren, I still have classes in the afternoon, so it's more convenient to eat in the cafeteria." Zhang Jin came over and asked coldly, "Xiao Meng, are you going to eat together?" Feng Meng waved her hand. "I won't go with you, you guys go?" "Okay." Han Wenwen and others also greeted Feng Meng as they passed by. As Lin Zhengren led the 4 people out of the classroom, they were talking about what to eat for lunch. Han Wenwen said, "Let's have pepper fried pork for lunch today." "The pepper fried pork in the cafeteria is delicious recently," Lin Zhengren responded. "I think so too. It tasted good last time I ate it, so let's have this today." Little He Qing followed Lin Zhengren softly and grasped the key point. "Lin Zhengren, do you like pepper fried pork? Then I'll make it for you when I go home tonight." "I can also make it." Lin Zhengren doted on the silly girl very much. "Okay." They left talking and laughing, and Feng Meng heard those words talking to herself. Stir-fried pork with peppers? Is Lin Zhengren going to eat this today? Her face turned red for no reason. She went to the cafeteria alone and lined up at the window for stir-fried pork with peppers. After getting the dishes, she found a seat and sat down. She opened the disposable chopsticks and looked at the stir-fried pork with peppers on the plate. Suddenly, she imagined a picture in her mind. It was in an empty room. She was tied to a chair with a rope by Lin Zhengren. She couldn't move at all, and a handkerchief was stuffed in her mouth. She couldn't speak, and even had to beg him to go to the toilet. Lin Zhengren in front of her came to her with a plate of stir-fried pork with peppers. He threatened with a domineering face, "This is today's lunch, give it to me." She stared at Lin Zhengren blankly, begging with her eyes that she couldn't eat peppers today. She already had a mouth ulcer and her mouth was very painful. As a result, Lin Zhengren said, "Don't eat? If you don't eat it today, you won't get my love. Only if you eat this plate of stir-fried pork with peppers will I reward you later." There was no way. Since Lin Zhengren said so, she could only eat it. So Lin Zhengren took off the handkerchief that was blocking his mouth. He handed the fried pork with peppers to him. Eat it like a puppy," he ordered. Hearing this, he blushed and had to eat the fried pork with peppers slowly like a puppy without chopsticks. This way, he could get Lin Zhengren's love tonight. Imagining this scene, Feng Meng blushed and picked up a piece of pepper and put it in her mouth. Talking to herself, "It's so spicy, but in order to get the reward, I am willing to eat this plate of fried pork with peppers." Just as Feng Meng was immersed in this self-entertaining fantasy, a familiar voice in reality interrupted her. "Xiao Meng? Are you alone? It's just right for us to eat together." It was Jiang Jingshi's voice that scared Feng Meng. She trembled and smiled, coughed and returned to her normal appearance. "Miss, no, instructor, you are here to eat too." Jiang Jingshi sat in front of Feng Meng and was curious when she saw the dishes on her plate. "Xiao Meng, don't you dislike peppers? Why did you order fried pork with peppers today?" Feng Meng looked at the dishes on her plate and tried to find an excuse to perfunctorily say, "I heard from others that this dish is quite delicious, so I wanted to buy some to try, but I didn't expect it to be a bit spicy." Jiang Jingshi had no choice but to push the light dish on her plate forward. "Of course fried pork with peppers is spicy, eat with me, I order light dishes." Feng Meng was also surprised when she looked at the dishes on Jiang Jingshi's plate. "Instructor, your taste is not so light usually, right? Why is it so light today?" Jiang Jingshi blushed and didn't say much. In fact, she also had her own ideas, that is, she had been secretly preparing for pregnancy recently. After all, the purpose of her coming to the school as a teacher this time was to prevent Kaianqian from contacting Zhang Zhen, but now that the two sisters are with Zhang Zhen, there is no need for her to stay here for a long time. Jiang Jingshi herself is not a student, and her parents have already agreed to her marriage with Zhang Zhen. She is also about to reach the age to get a marriage certificate. So now is the best time to get pregnant with Zhang Zheng's child. First, everyone has not graduated yet and is still free. If she is pregnant now, there will be less things to do. If she gets pregnant together in the future, how tired will Zhang Zheng be? Secondly, Jiang Jingshi also wants to have a fruit of love with Lin Zhengren. Since it will be born sooner or later, of course the sooner the better. Have a baby that belongs to him as soon as possible. Adjust your diet, it's better to eat light, Jiang Jingshi replied gently. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 412 Xiao Entertainment. After lunch, Feng Meng and Jiang Jingxi looked in the direction of Lin Sihengren and others before leaving the restaurant. They didn't know what they talked about again. Jiang Zuli stood beside Lin Sihengren with her head held high and her hands crossed over her chest, complaining, "Stupid, stupid, big stupid." Little He Qing reminded while eating, "Lily, you will get beaten if you say that to Lin Sihengren, just say it. Stupid, stupid, stupid." Sure enough, the next moment, her head exploded. Jiang Zuli screamed, making He Qing and Han Wenwen laugh. Jiang Jin also chewed her food and said expressionlessly, "Aren't you asking for a beating on purpose?" Feng Meng also laughed when she saw this scene. These girlfriends of Lin Sihengren are really noisy. There was nothing special about the afternoon class, it was still as normal as usual. Feng Meng still peeked at Lin Sihengren while in class. She has been doing this kind of thing during this period of time. Girls can never keep their eyes away from the boys they like. But today, when she was peeking at Lin Sihengren would occasionally look at her. Feng Meng had to sit down quickly, trying not to let the other party find out that she was peeping. The phone in her pocket vibrated. Feng Meng took out her phone to check. It was a message from the deputy general manager. "Zhang Yang, boss, didn't you say that the company would have a meeting tonight? What time should we pick you up in the afternoon?" Feng Meng typed a time. The other party immediately replied, "Okay, then I'll arrange someone to go now." As the bell rang, today's class ended, and Feng Meng left the classroom with her bag. She was now wearing a more youthful outfit, a short skirt and long sleeves. If she was going to the company for a meeting, she would have to change her clothes. Driving back to the rental house, Feng Meng took off her wig and spread her long silver-white hair behind her. Just changing her hairstyle, the whole person looks different. She also picked out a more formal shirt and trousers from the closet. Sitting in front of the dressing table in the living room, she opened her entire set of makeup props, foundation, lipstick, eyeshadow, etc. The nearly perfect makeup technique allowed Feng Meng to fine-tune every detail, shadow, and corner of the eye on her face. Coupled with this long hair and a temperament that imitates Jiang Jin. Even if someone is familiar with her, they can't recognize the original Feng Meng. She adjusted her voice, took out her mobile phone and called Zhang Yang, the deputy general manager of Xiao Entertainment. "Hello? Have you arrived?" Zhang Yang immediately replied, "I've arrived a long time ago." "Where are you, boss?" "I'll pick you up, you just wait at the old place, I'll be there soon." She went downstairs and walked through a street and an alley, and finally saw an Audi parked on the side of the road. When the conspicuous and beautiful Feng Meng walked out of the street, Zhang Yang, who was waiting outside the car, immediately trotted to greet her. "Boss, you're here." Zhang Yang is a 30-year-old man with a peaceful face, but there is obviously an undercurrent of ruthlessness in that peace. He's from the south, with a low education level and strong action. He once opened a bar and did a lot of business, but unfortunately his business talent is limited, and he repeatedly hits a wall, and even once had a miserable life. However, because of those years of business, he has many loyal brothers under him. It was also because of a coincidence that Feng Meng met Zhang Yang, who was poor and in debt at the time. In a very short time, Feng Meng saw that if this man could be obedient, he would definitely be a rare second in command. His action and grasp of people's hearts are extremely high, and he is a master of negotiation and facts. In addition to his poor business talent, Feng Meng gave advice, judged the market situation and trained his subordinates, and Zhang Yang's rapid action and negotiation skills and obedience. The two still founded the Xiao Entertainment Company in just over a year, and now it is getting stronger and stronger. Especially in other provinces, it has even become a big name. Feng Meng asked, "Why do you come to pick me up in person every time?" "Just let the driver come," Zhang Yang answered very loyally. "Anyway, I have nothing to do in the office, why not come to pick you up together? Now the company's leaders are here, just waiting for you to go." The driver opened the door for Feng Meng. Feng Meng got into the car. "Thank you for coming here with me every time for a meeting." Zhang Yang also sat in the co-pilot. "Boss, you are joking. If it weren't for you, what would these people be? It's impossible for these people to complain about such a small matter." The car drove slowly through the bustling city. Feng Meng looked at the scenery outside the window. She has been with Jiang Jingxi and Jiang Jin for these years, and has almost learned all the skills of the sisters. Piano, business, study, negotiation are all proficient. Although Fang Meng doesn't show these abilities at ordinary times, she can use them whenever she wants. Of course, the so-called learning everything is limited to before Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin met Lin Suhengren. Since they met Lin Suhengren, Fang Meng found that she couldn't learn from them completely, and the gap began to become obvious. After all, the progress of the eldest lady Anqianqian is too fast. Even if Fang Meng is a genius, she can't catch up by herself. Moreover, her ability to learn independently is not strong. She just imitates others' talents beyond the standard, and her talent is limited. Zhang Yang asked from the co-pilot's seat, "Boss, you said you've been busy recently. Is everything going well?" Fang Meng hummed coldly, "I'm fine." "How is the company doing recently?" Zhang Yang smiled and said, "Everything is going well in the company. You're really amazing. Every time I negotiate with others, you can perfectly predict the conditions they propose. There's no reason why things won't go smoothly." As he was speaking, Zhang Yang's cell phone rang. He took out his phone to check and found the word wife on it. Zhang Yang hung up without thinking. Fang Meng saw this scene. "Why did you hang up? Did you have a fight with your wife?" "Just answer the phone." Zhang Yang smiled and said, "There have been some conflicts recently. There was a smell of gunpowder as soon as I answered the phone, but it doesn't matter. I'll apologize to my wife when I get home in the evening and everything will be fine." Fang Meng didn't ask much. She didn't interfere too much in the other party's family affairs. "Zhang Yang, tomorrow is Saturday, boss. Are you going to visit the company? Or continue to work on your things?" "Fang Meng, I have something to do tomorrow and can't go to the company. Besides, you manage the company very well, it's enough to have you here." Zhang Yang was praised by Fang Meng. When he turned back to look at Fang Meng, his eyes were filled with a religious worship. "Thank you for your compliment. I know, I won't let you down." Arrived at the branch office building in the city. After Fang Meng and Zhang Yang arrived at the conference room, all the leaders in the conference room stood up. In unison, "Mr. Fang, Mr. Zhang," Fang Meng said coldly, "just sit down." Fang Meng sat in the general manager's position, and Zhang Yang sat down right after her. "Okay, let's start talking about the company's problems during this period." As soon as she opened her mouth, everyone listened very seriously. Chapter 413 Faith. After more than 2 hours of meetings, everyone in the conference room was a little tired. "It happened that my mother sent another message, go home early tomorrow, otherwise it will be too late to go to Lin Suhengren's house." Fang Meng replied, "I know, Mom, I will drive home early in the morning." After sending the message, she raised her head coldly, "Then let's just leave for today? If everyone has no other questions, let's adjourn the meeting." Everyone nodded. Fang Meng stood up. "Adjourn the meeting?" Fang Meng left the conference room and walked to the parking area. Zhang Yang and many leaders followed respectfully behind. The driver opened the door for her. Before she got in the car, she turned around and said, "No need to send me off. I'm going back. You can go home and rest." Zhang Yang asked reluctantly, "Then boss, if you have anything, please call me at any time. I will keep in touch 24 hours a day." Fang Meng simply replied, "I know." She got in the car and the driver drove Fang Meng back. Many leaders kept watching Fang Meng leave, and most of the people had left. But it was indeed a majority. Among the more than 30 leaders, only a dozen left. The remaining dozen or so stood firmly behind Zhang Yang, and seemed to be more loyal to Zhang Yang than Fang Meng and the others. "Boss Zhang, do you have anything else tonight? If not, the brothers can go and take care of their own things." Zhang Yang looked at the disappeared intersection reluctantly, and suddenly turned his head and glanced at the person who was speaking fiercely. "I asked you to check where the boy came from. Did you check?" The person who was speaking was frightened by this look, and trembled. "I found out, but it is really not easy to find out. The boy that Boss Fang has been in contact with recently is called Lin Suhengren. He is Boss Fang's classmate. The most important thing is that the boy is actually the general manager of Xiangxi Company. The general manager of Xiangxi Company is such a young boy? A rich second generation. He should not be a rich second generation, but the boy's background is really strange because I found out that he has some connection with the Zhang group, but the specific connection has not been clarified yet." Zhang Yang subconsciously raised his hand and slapped the man in the face. "Good for nothing. It's been how many days since you investigated such a small thing?" The man did not dare to talk back, and covered his face. "I'm sorry, Boss Zhang, mainly because this person's identity is very hidden and difficult to investigate. Tell me again, I will investigate it as soon as possible. You can rest assured," he stammered. Zhang Yang looked at the silent intersection again and muttered to himself, the general manager of Jiangxi Company. But even if the other party is the general manager of Jiangxi Company, why does the boss always hang around him? Is he trying to swallow up Jiangxi Company? The man next to him didn't dare to speak. In fact, the information he investigated told him that Fang Meng obviously had strange feelings for that boy. But no one dared to say anything about this matter. After all, in the eyes of Zhang Yang, who believed in religion, Fang Meng was holy. She was the reincarnation of an angel. She would not like anyone and was absolutely pure. So in the past year or so, if anyone in the company mentioned Fang Meng's private affairs, Zhang Yang would almost always find them alone. The ending would not be good, but these things were only known to Zhang Yang's brothers who followed him every day. The ding-ling-ling sound of the phone broke the silence at the moment. It was the man's cell phone that rang, which startled him, but it seemed that the caller had to answer it, so he could only whisper, "Hello? Sister-in-law," the woman on the phone asked, "Where is your eldest brother? I called him and he hung up on me. He blocked me when I called again. Where are you? I didn't see you at the card room." The man was speechless and looked at Zhang Yang. "Mr. Zhang," sister-in-law asked where we are. "She is at the card room." Zhang Yang irritably exhaled. "Let's go to the card room." "Yes," the man said to the phone. "Sister-in-law, we are going to the card room now." "You wait a moment." All the brothers who followed Zhang Yang got on the car and went to the card room that Zhang Yang operated privately. Zhang Yang likes to read books in the car or when he has nothing to do. Read books about faith and the like. At this moment, it was the same. After getting in the car, Zhang Yang picked up the book on the back seat and put on his glasses to read. The driver drove very steadily and slowly, so as not to disturb Zhang Yang's interest in reading. It is said in the book that people need to have faith and meaning in life. People with true faith can be led by the wise men or angels who come from heaven to walk on the holy road of light. The angels who come from heaven are holy, perfect, and cannot be defiled. No matter what suffering you have experienced before, as long as you truly believe in angels, you will be saved and your life will be meaningful. Zhang Yang looked at the words and remembered the scene when he first met Fang Meng. The other party was dressed in pure white and holy. It was really like an angel coming to rescue him who is desperate. He smiled. His heart was full of piety, but his subconscious mind made him irritable. Such a holy angel, the boss. Why spend so much time on a young boy? Especially since she met the boss, she has been busy around the boy. This made Zhang Yang very uncomfortable. How could a reincarnation of an angel take the initiative to pay attention to someone? It should be someone else who begged her to save him. Why did the boy get so much attention from the boss? With this mood, he went all the way to the underground card room. This is a dark passage in a commercial street, which is bustling and noisy. After entering, a beautiful woman in a long skirt came over. This person was Zhang Yang's wife. "Zhang Yang, where did you suddenly go again without telling me?" Zhang Yang didn't even look at his wife and walked straight forward. Zhang Yang's wife followed him closely. "Hey, have you been crazy recently? Can you at least tell me when you go out?" Being ignored again, the woman was a little angry and stopped him. "Don't go." Zhang Yang was puzzled. "What are you going to do?" Zhang Yang's wife took out a photo from her arms and said angrily, "I still have to ask you. What are you going to do? This is a photo of your boss, right? I found it in your notebook. Why did you hide this photo? Do you like your boss?" As soon as she asked the last sentence, Zhang Yang's originally irritable eyes turned into fury, and he slapped her hard without thinking. The slap was so loud that the woman even fell to the ground and hit the chair beside her. She covered her belly with fear and trepidation and asked, "Are you crazy? Aren't you afraid that our child will be beaten to death by you?" Zhang Yang frowned and stared at him and asked, "You say something about my boss again?" Zhang Yang's wife looked at her husband with trembling eyes, too scared to speak. No one dared to intervene at this time. Zhang Yang had a blank expression on his face, and he didn't look as peaceful as when he was talking to Fang Meng just now. "No one can blaspheme our boss. If you say something insulting to our boss again, I will make you unable to speak again in this life. Do you hear me?" Chapter 414, The Bustling Morning at the Lin Family. This scene in the card field was not the first time. Every time someone mentioned the topic of Fang Meng, the result was similar. Most people also knew that this was the reverse scale that Zhang Yang must not touch. On the other side, after the pure and holy Fang Meng went home, she washed up and lay on the bed. She looked at the ceiling and wanted to go to bed early, but she couldn't sleep. because she was happy and excited to see Lin Suhengren tomorrow, so after tossing and turning for more than 10 minutes, Feng Meng took out her mobile phone and found the photos of Lin Suhengren in her mobile phone collection, intending to use the easy sleep method. She found a more handsome picture, with red cheeks and biting lips. Her legs curled up. One hand slowly reached into the quilt, imagining some scenes that were not suitable for children, closing her eyes and reveling in them. Lin Suhengren, please continue to bully me. Don't feel sorry for me. On the same night, Han Wenwen's live broadcast competition also reached the last game. Under Lin Suhengren's meticulous guidance, the little fox really won the game live broadcast competition with thousands of people, and won the championship as a female anchor. Got a ticket to tomorrow's professional competition. Stunned those professional players and hundreds of thousands of spectators. The referees all exclaimed and cheered, saying that this was the strongest female anchor in history. Brother Suhengren, I won. Wen won. The little fox was so happy that she almost jumped up from her chair. The girls in the villa celebrated together after hearing the news. Everyone opened some beer and supper tonight to celebrate for Han Wenwen. The next morning, Saturday, it was drizzling, and it was a little gloomy outside the window. In the big bedroom of the 3-story villa, everyone who had been crazy for half the night was sleeping a little dead at this moment. But Lin Suhengren felt that these 5 guys might be used to sleeping together. They used to button up all the buttons of their pajamas, but now they would button up a few less for comfort. And their sleeping postures have become more and more casual. It is normal to lie on yourself, lie on your back, or sleep with your body tilted. For example, Zhang Jingxi buried her face in Lin Suhengren's hair today and slept with her chest against his head. Lin Suhengren was even out of breath. Jingxi, can you stop hugging my head so tightly? His voice seemed to be drowned out. Zhang Jingxi had actually woken up. She slowly opened her eyes and looked down at Lin Suhengren with a gentle face. Zhang, are you awake? Lin Suhengren stretched out his hand to hold Zhang Jingxi's waist and pulled her down. Zhang Jingxi let out a soft ah, now looking at Lin Suhengren level, pursed her lips slightly. You woke up so early. She kissed Lin Suhengren on the cheek. After the kiss, Zhang Jin, who was lying on Lin Suhengren, suddenly climbed up and kissed Lin Suhengren on the lips, and greeted him coldly. Ranran, good morning. Lin Suhengren responded. Kyankian, good morning. The little fox was woken up by everyone, and made a whimpering sound in her throat. She also slowly crawled out of the quilt, staring at Lin Suhengren with her charming fox eyes half asleep and half awake. Why did you wake up so early? She hugged his neck and said flatteringly, Brother Suhengren kiss Brother Suhengren is great, helping me win the game. Wenwen wants to repay Brother Suhengren. Han Wenwen kissed Lin Suhengren's lips, but she didn't just kiss him and then it was over, but she started to enjoy it in front of everyone. Lip-to-lip contact. Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin were stunned. Zhang Jingxi blushed and reminded, Hey Wenwen, you can't kiss for so long, we just kissed once. Han Wenwen glanced at the sisters with her fox eyes, smiled apologetically, and continued to kiss Lin Suhengren's lips. There was no intention of ending at all. Without saying a word, Zhang Jin was jealous and wanted to pull the fox down. That's enough, Wenwen, stop kissing, I'm jealous. Han Wenwen whispered coquettishly, give me and Brother Suhengren 5 more minutes, just kiss for 5 more minutes. Zhang Jin was jealous and cold. No, you've kissed long enough. Zhang Zuli, who was still sleeping, had veins bulging on her forehead, and screamed, what are you arguing about? Don't you want to sleep? She also popped her head up, and when she opened her eyes, she saw a fox kissing Lin Suhengren. She was so shocked that she also pulled Han Wenwen without hesitation. You stinky fox. Why are you kissing Suhengren so early in the morning? Stop kissing. Han Wenwen was unwilling, and hugged Lin Suhengren tightly, not wanting to leave. What's wrong with me kissing my boyfriend? Lily and Kyankian, don't pull me. Zhang Zuli pulled and retorted, what do you mean your boyfriend? Suhengren is mine. I am also her girlfriend, and I don't allow you to kiss for so long. You stinky fox, shut up. No, Zhang Jin said coldly, obviously Ranran is mine. She saw Han Wenwen being pulled down, and she actually leaned over and kissed Lin Suhengren's lips again. Seeing her sister so proactive, Zhang Jingxi was also angry. Zhang is mine. She also went to kiss. The 4 people fought for it, and only He Qing, who buried her face in Lin Suhengren's belly in the quilt, listened to these people's fight every morning. Accustomed to it, she stared at Lin Suhengren's belly button with her soft face and kissed gently. Licking Lin Suhengren's belly like a kitten. Lin Suhengren smells so good, there are so many muscles on his belly. Lin Zhengren's belly was tickled by He Qing. Enough. Stop arguing, get up. In the end, Lin Zhengren, the head of the family, couldn't help but speak. Everyone was stunned by his roar, and pouted. They didn't want to get up. But since the head of the family had spoken, there was nothing they could do. 5 minutes later, Lin Zhengren sat up from the bed, and the 5 sisters sat up with him. After each of them had a wake-up kiss, they got out of bed and started to change clothes to prepare for this happy weekend. The so-called wake-up kiss is also a habit that the 5 sisters have gradually learned. At first, they learned from Han Wenwen. The little fox used to kiss Lin Zhengren on the lips every morning when she got out of bed, and the other sisters wanted to kiss him when they saw it. Gradually, it evolved into the first thing everyone did every morning when they got up, and they had to kiss Lin Zhengren before they could get out of bed and change clothes. It has become a strange ritual. If they don't kiss, everyone will be in a bad mood for the whole day. While changing clothes, Xiao Heqing sat on the bed wearing white socks and with messy hair. Among the 5 people, Xiao Heqing was the most obedient, but her sleeping posture was the worst. Every morning when she woke up, her hair looked like it came out of a tornado. When Lin Zhengren saw this, he would smooth it down for her. Why did you sleep like this again? Little He Qing chuckled and asked softly. Lin Zhengren, you said last night that you were going back home today. Lin Zhengren hummed. My parents asked me to go back. They said they had something important to tell me, and my family said that there would be guests coming. Han Wenwen, with her hair standing up, walked over in a cat-like manner. Brother Zhengren, I'll go home with you to see your aunt. Zhang Zuli said proudly. I miss my uncle and aunt a little bit, too. How about I go back with them? Zhang Jin, I want to go too. Zhang Jingxi, me too. Lin Zhengren said, no need. You just need to do your own things or rest at home. You don't have to follow me every time I go to a house. Besides, it's still early for you to get dressed. I'll go home for lunch and come back in the afternoon. Zhang Jin asked, Ranran, you said there were guests coming to your uncle and aunt's house. Who were they? It seems to be Fang Meng's family. Almost at the same time, all the girls became alert. Except for Zhang Jin. Zhang Jin was puzzled. Xiao Meng, she noticed everyone's vigilant gaze. What are you looking at? Why do you all have this expression? When Ranran mentioned Xiao Meng, Xiao He Qing said, because Fang Meng likes Lin Zhengren. What? Zhang Jin was surprised. Chapter 415 Lin Family. Zhang Jin looked puzzled. Xiao Meng likes Ranran. Zhang Zuli was surprised. Jin, you don't know yet. We thought you knew it a long time ago. After all, it's quite obvious. Zhang Jin blinked blankly and looked at her sister. Zhang Jingxi smiled and said, I know too. I thought you knew. Zhang Jin was stunned for a while, thinking for a moment. So that's it. I said Xiao Meng is so happy when she is with Ranran. I have long felt something is strange, so this is the case. The girls were ashamed. Zhang Jin's slowness in emotions has indeed reached a surprising level. It is really amazing to be sure that she likes Lin Zhengren. It is something that can only be done by super liking. Zhang Jin turned her head to look at Lin Zhengren, then Ranran likes Xiao. She was about to say something, but she was almost instantly covered by Han Wenwen and Zhang Zuli. Han Wenwen knew that she must not ask such things, because Brother Zhengren must like Fang Meng subconsciously. The rule of 6 girlfriends obviously leaves a place for Fang Meng. While Brother Zhengren doesn't know yet, don't remind him. Zhang Zuli also knew that this matter couldn't be mentioned, otherwise the 5 sisters would easily become 6 sisters. She smiled and said, okay, let's not talk about this matter. Zhengren, are you going to go back by yourself? Seeing everyone's nervous look, Lin Zhengren smiled and nodded. Well, I'll be back in the afternoon. You should stay at home and have a good rest. Wenwen just finished the competition. Lily has a lot of things recently, and Jingxi and Qianqian's company merger is not finished yet. You should deal with your own things first. Everyone nodded. Lin Zhengren looked at the well-behaved little He Qing sitting on the bed again. If you want, practice taekwondo and prepare for next year's competition, little He Qing hummed. After a simple packing, Lin Zhengren said goodbye to the girls and took a car back to his hometown in Zither City. The 5 girls stood at the door of the villa and said goodbye to Lin Zhengren, waving their hands. Zhang Jin's mouth was still covered by Zhang Zuli. Lily didn't let go of her hand until Lin Zhengren was completely far away, and she breathed a sigh of relief. Zhang Jin asked coldly, not understanding, why don't you let me speak? Zhang Zuli pinched her waist and questioned, Qianqian, did you want to ask Zhengren whether he likes Fang Meng just now? Zhang Jin nodded, yes, I want to know what Ranran thinks of Xiao Meng. Han Wenwen interrupted. If Kyankian asked that, Brother Zhengren would seriously think about whether he likes Feng Meng, and that would be bad. Zhang Jin was puzzled. What do you mean? I don't understand what you are talking about at all. Xiao He Qing asked the key point. Kyankian, do you want Feng Meng to join us? Can you accept Lin Zhengren having another girlfriend? Zhang Jin hesitated and answered sincerely. I don't know. I hope Xiao Meng can be happy, but I definitely don't want Ranran to continue to be unfaithful. Now he has so many girlfriends, I am already jealous every day, and I will definitely be unhappy if there is one more. Everyone actually thought so. No one hated Feng Meng, but at the same time, no one wanted to share Lin Zhengren anymore. Zhang Jing, she said, so we should not get involved in this matter. If Zhang Zheng and Xiao Meng are destined to be together, then we can't stop this matter. If they are not destined to be together, then it goes without saying. At this time, Xiao Heqing looked at Lin Zhengren, who was going away, and said softly, however, whether there is fate or not, Feng Meng is the final limit. She looked at everyone. We all have to reach a point of view. That is, our Lin family can no longer accept any girls except Xiao Meng. No one can. We must be united against the outside world. Everyone nodded and agreed with this point of view. Han Wenwen took Xiao Heqing's arm at this time and joked with a smile. Xiao Heqing has become so majestic just now. You can even say such things. Xiao Heqing blushed shyly and waved her hands. No way. After all, the 6-person rule has been talked about for a long time, and I believe everyone thinks that 6 people are really a lot, right? You can never add more. Everyone nodded again. Jiang Zuli sighed at this time. To be honest, if Zhengren wasn't so fickle, I think the two of them would have played around a lot. In today's society, how can a boy date so many girlfriends at the same time, and not quarrel with his girlfriends? Only a few of us are in love. Everyone nodded with red faces. There was no way. No one could leave Lin Zhengren. Zhang Jing, she coughed. Okay, everyone, do your own things and wait for Zhang to come back in the afternoon. Everyone returned to the villa together. They talked and laughed about what to do at noon. Until Jiang Zuli inexplicably said, by the way, the white-haired girl should not be a threat, right? Those who knew about this fell silent, and Xiao Heqing and Han Wenwen looked confused. What white-haired girl? On the other side, Lin Zhengren successfully returned to his hometown in Zithar City 2 hours later. Walked back to the familiar community. Entered the door and knocked. Mom and Dad, I'm back. The person who opened the door was not someone else, but Feng Meng, who had a side ponytail and wore a pleated skirt and short sleeves. You're back. Lin Zhengren smiled when he saw Feng Meng. Yes, you're here. Feng Meng stepped aside to make way for Lin Zhengren. We just arrived not long ago. My parents are here too. Come in quickly. After he entered the house, Lin Xiaoli also stood up to greet him. Ranran is back. Come wash your hands and eat some fruit. Feng Meng's parents were also very enthusiastic, squinting their eyes and smiling. Ranran is back. Come sit down and have a rest. Lin Zhengren greeted everyone. Hello uncle and aunt. I'll come after washing my hands. After he went to the bathroom and returned to the sofa, the two families had a brief chat. It seemed that the topic of today had nothing to do with Lin Zhengren and Feng Meng. It was mainly about the elders. So Lin Zhengren and Feng Meng sat together honestly, eating fruit and listening to their chat. As a professional assistant, Feng Meng's movements in peeling fruit were first class. She picked up a few oranges and peeled them with a knife in a few seconds. Put them on the plate and pushed them to Lin Zhengren. Let him eat. Lin Zhengren said thank you and handed Feng Meng a few toothpicks. He ate the orange with the toothpicks. Feng Meng took it and ate the orange from the same plate with the toothpicks. Lin Zhengren asked, didn't you say you were busy with something recently? Is it going well? Feng Meng looked at Lin Zhengren and chewed the orange. It's going well. How about you? How is your relationship with Kyankian these days? Kyankian has a very special personality, but she may be very obedient when she is with Lin Zhengren. She is very obedient. Although she still has a stern face every day, she is very cute when she does many small things. I am very happy to be with her during this period. Feng Meng felt a little jealous. It seems that this is the first time you praise Kyankian for being cute. Lin Zhengren looked at Feng Meng. After all, I didn't get along with her before, so I couldn't praise her for being cute at that time. Feng Meng thought so too. As she spoke, she suddenly put her hand on Lin Zhengren's pulse and checked his pulse. It was very healthy. Feng Meng commented, Lin Zhengren is quite restrained. He has so many girlfriends but he doesn't indulge himself. His body is still so healthy. Lin's Hengren thought to himself, what restraint is there? I don't know how many times he will be intimate with them in a week. Fang Meng saw this smile and had more imaginations in her mind. What expression would Qian have when Lin Hengren did that to her? Just imagining it makes me feel very aroused. And when the solemn young lady was intimate with Lin Hengren, Fang Meng's face was slightly red and jealous. She ate a slice of orange and chewed it sourly. Chapter 416 Quantity. It was almost time for dinner. Lin Xiaoli stood up and said, "It's almost time for dinner. You guys chat, I'll go get you some food." Fang Meng's mother also stood up. "I'll go too. Let them chat." Fang Meng's father suggested, "Let's go and help. Otherwise, if we don't help now, I'll go home in the afternoon, and I'll be the only one to cook tonight." Lin Yingjin laughed. "Since the guests said so, let's stand up together." Fang Meng's mother glanced at her daughter and ordered, Meng, go downstairs and buy a few bottles of drinks. You and Ranran can buy whatever you want to drink." Lin Xiaoli reminded. No, there are drinks in the refrigerator." Fang Meng's mother had her own plans, and smiled and waved her hand. "Let Meng go buy it. It's not just about buying drinks. Meng, you can also buy a pack of cigarettes for your dad." "Go ahead," Fang Meng responded. Lin Hengren knew that he would definitely not let her go to buy when the other party came to visit. "Let me go. Fang Meng is resting here. What do you want to drink?" As he said that, he had already stood up. Fang Meng's mother knew this would happen, and said with a smile, "Why don't we go together? It's just right that we have a companion. Meng will go out with your brother Ranran." "Come on," Fang Meng responded again and stood up, saying to him, "I'll go too." Lin Xiaoli saw this and knew what the other party was thinking, but her own Ranran. She looked at her husband, and Lin Yingjin shook his head and said that he didn't know how to deal with it. Ranran was different from others. And Xiaomeng and Ranran have known each other for a long time. Only the son knows what he is planning, and they can't get involved. And Lin Yingjin looked at the two people who had already gone downstairs. He pointed to the door and told his wife that the two had already left, and it was useless for us to look at each other. Lin Xiaoli was so angry that she eyed her husband like a spoiled child. "Husband, help me pick vegetables." After going downstairs, Lin Hengren and Fang Meng went to the supermarket downstairs side by side. Strolling on both sides of the road, vehicles passed from time to time. Fang Meng said very bluntly, "My mother doesn't know about you, don't mind." "What do you mean?" Fang Meng looked ahead and blinked. "You clearly understand what I'm saying. Although Lin Hengren looks like a pure boy, he is actually a playboy. Girls are easily deceived by your innocent appearance. By the time they react, it's too late and they can't get away." Lin Hengren smiled. "No, I came down because you are a guest anyway. I definitely can't sit at home and let you come down to buy things alone. It's impolite." Fang Meng glanced at Lin Hengren. "Lin Hengren is really a gentleman," she emphasized. "It's just that I always feel that Lin Hengren is too polite to girls. In fact, it's better to be casual in many cases. In fact, everyone in this world has a little bit of masochism, and the proportion of girls is higher." Lin Hengren, what is she suddenly talking about? What's going on? Where did this theory come from? Fang Meng blushed and coughed, then changed the subject. "Let me ask you a question. Does classmate Lin Hengren have a specific limit on the number of girlfriends he can have? It can't be that he really likes everyone he meets, and keeps adding more and more, right? That's a bit too much." He asked back, "What do you think of me? In fact, I never planned to fall in love when I was young. The current situation is just a matter of letting things take their course." Huh? What a scumbag's quote. Classmate Lin Hengren is good at deceiving young girls. "I never thought about falling in love when I was young." It's true, he was embarrassed, thinking, can we be the same? "I never thought about falling in love when I was young," he said seriously. "The first girl I met in this world was He Qing. When I met that girl, she was so stupid and obedient, so at that time I didn't have any other thoughts about He Qing, and even thought that girls were so troublesome." Fang Meng repeated Lin Hengren's words. What an interesting way of saying it in this world, as if classmate Lin Hengren had been to other worlds before. Lin Hengren smiled and snorted. "Fang Meng, go on, what next? Since you had no feelings for He Qing, why did you fall in love with her later? Why did you become unfaithful after falling in love with her?" Love grows over time. As for the reason why I became unfaithful, when I first realized that I liked He Qing, I had already met Lily and Wenwen. Then when I realized that I liked Lily and Wenwen, I met Jingxi, Jiangjin and you. Then when I realized that I liked Jingxi, I realized that I seemed to like Qian as well. Having said this, Feng Meng was suddenly stunned. What a scumbag! And why was her name included in it? She tried not to blush and continued the topic. Dominoes? Not over yet, Linz Hengren, didn't I already say it? After meeting so many girls, I no longer have the opportunity and I really don't want to contact other girls, so this is the end, and the number will not expand indefinitely. He was very honest. I admit that I am a little greedy. After realizing that I have fallen in love with so many people unknowingly, my first reaction was not to choose one from them, but to want them all. After all, I really can't give away the girls I like and abandon them. He looked at Feng Meng. So do you think this has become like what I said, imperceptibly? I can't abandon the person I like and who is truly good to me, so I can only accept them all. Feng Meng walked forward slowly. I don't know how to evaluate it. It feels reasonable but also like nonsense. After all, according to what classmate Linz Hengren said, you can almost keep doing it indefinitely. So it depends on you how many girls you will be with in the end, Linz Hengren. So after realizing the fact of this nesting doll, I set a limit on myself very early and told them about it. Limit? The number of girlfriends. Yeah, Feng Meng was curious. How many? 5? Or, she suddenly widened her eyes. Because she realized that this number seemed to be very important. If it was 6, then why was it 6, and who was the 6th one? After all, according to this theory, there would be no girls that Linz Hengren would like in the future in his limit, only people he knew. Linz Hengren spoke, and Feng Meng stared at him closely. Her heart didn't dare to beat too fast, for fear that she didn't hear clearly. As a result, a big dog tied up on the side of the road suddenly barked, interrupting what Feng Meng wanted to know. Linz Hengren looked at the big golden retriever and felt that it looked very familiar. The big golden retriever excitedly wagged its tail when it saw Linz Hengren. Linz Hengren was surprised. Are you the puppy I rescued when I first met Lily? At that time, Lily snatched you from your mother. The big golden retriever turned around, wagged its tail and barked happily. Linz Hengren bent down and touched its head and said with a smile, you have grown so big. It looks like you have had a good life these years. Woof woof. Feng Meng puffed her cheeks secretly. After Linz Hengren said goodbye to the golden retriever, Feng Meng asked again, how many are there? Linz Hengren was curious. How many do you mean? What is the maximum number of girlfriends you can have? She asked anxiously. Linz Hengren deliberately said, why are you curious about this? Feng Meng saw the other party staring at her. Her cheeks blushed, and she turned her body and snorted. Forget it, it has nothing to do with me. Linz Hengren looked at her like this, and sure enough, the girl that night was Feng Meng, and the way she snorted was the same. The two walked forward a few more steps, and Feng Meng still couldn't help but, how many are there? I'm asking for Qian 6, he answered. Chapter 417, A Dream Like Feng Meng. Linz Hengren also added, in addition, Qian knows the exact number, you don't need to ask for her. 6, Feng Meng's pupils dilated, and she was really dazed for a moment. She even felt that she had miscalculated, and counted on her fingers. He Qing, Zhang Zuli, Han Wenwen, Miss Qian, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feng Meng became excited, thinking of Linz Hengren's inexplicable mention of her name just now, and asked, why is it 6? How come there is one more position? Linz Hengren looked as if it was a matter of course. There is no reason. 6 is 6. Feng Meng stopped and asked, I'm asking who the 6th one is. Isn't there an empty position? Yes, I have agreed with the 5 of them that I will find 6 girlfriends at most, so there must be one empty position. Feng Meng's palms clenched slightly, pursed her lips and stared at the other person. Linz Hengren asked, what's wrong? Feng Meng felt that the other party seemed to be deliberately beating around the bush, but was what she felt really right? At this moment, Feng Meng really wanted to ask directly if the 6th person was herself, but she was afraid that if the other party answered no, or made a puzzled expression after asking, Feng Meng might not be able to accept that she liked someone but didn't like her. Nothing. Her voice became very small. Linz Hengren hummed, I thought you would ask me if the 6th person was you. Feng Meng was stunned again. Linz Hengren had already walked forward. She stared at Linz Hengren's figure. What did she just hear? Linz Hengren walked a few steps and saw that she didn't catch up, so he asked, let's go. Why are you standing there? The supermarket is almost there. Feng Meng suddenly felt that classmate Linz Hengren really had a pure expression, but the experience bar for dealing with little girls had already overflowed. Sure enough, classmate Linz Hengren, who had so many girlfriends, was definitely not a good person. She stared at him straight. She clenched her fists, her eyes suddenly filled with shyness and great courage. Will it be me, the sixth person? She raised her voice a lot, very nervous. Is the last person you mentioned me? Because you just mentioned my name. Lin Zhengren also looked at Fang Meng, and after a moment he replied, this position is indeed reserved for you. Fang Meng's eyes trembled. The two were speechless. Cars continued to pass by on the road. After standing there in a daze for half a minute, Fang Meng's face turned red. Her mind was blank, and she didn't know what to say all of a sudden. What is this? This sudden conversation wasn't originally just about going downstairs to buy some things. Why did I suddenly talk to him about these things? Why did I suddenly talk about this? Suddenly, these were not in Fang Meng's plan at all. Lin Zhengren reminded again, don't be in a daze, go to the supermarket soon, and you have to go back after buying things. He continued to walk towards the supermarket, and Fang Meng's legs and feet trembled and followed quickly. The two still walked side by side, but this time there was some silence. Fang Meng was no longer as calm as she was at the beginning. Instead, she half lowered her head and looked at the road. Her cheeks were red, and the roots of her ears were also red. They entered the supermarket, and Lin Zhengren asked Fang Meng what kind of beverage she liked. Fang Meng's voice became very soft, and she said gently, just the same as yours. Lin Zhengren then bought a few bottles of Pockery Sweat, and went to the tobacco sales area. What kind of cigarettes does Uncle smoke? To be honest, I have never seen Uncle smoke, Fang Meng explained. That's because my father doesn't smoke at all, so you don't need to buy them. Lin Zhengren's forehead was sweaty, so the aunt's request to let Fang Meng come down to buy cigarettes just now was just an excuse. Just like that, they bought a few bottles of drinks, and Lin Zhengren carried the bag and went back with Fang Meng. While walking, Lin Zhengren was contented and natural, as if nothing had happened. Fang Meng was confused. What was going on now? She didn't understand, and didn't understand. She secretly looked at Lin Zhengren, curious about why he was so free and easy. Strolling in the garden? Those words just now were obviously not normal. Even in Fang Meng's opinion, they could be considered as confessions between men and women, but judging from the atmosphere, it was not like that. If it was a confession, would the scene be like this? I still remember that when Kyankian confessed to Lin Zhengren immediately kissed Kyankian and kissed for more than 10 minutes, but now. It's so strange, so strange, so strange, so strange atmosphere. Fang Meng didn't understand what it meant to be together, and was completely confused by Lin Zhengren. The two returned to the community in silence and walked to the residential building. They were about to go upstairs. Once they went upstairs, Fang Meng knew that they would not be able to talk about similar topics for at least a long time, because they had to help the adults carry the plates for dinner. So when they were about to walk up the stairs to the first floor, Fang Meng suddenly grabbed the corner of Lin Zhengren's clothes. Lin Zhengren turned around. Fang Meng pursed her lips and looked puzzled. Wait, what did you say just now, Countess? Lin Zhengren stared at Fang Meng's expression. That's right, Fang Meng opened her red lips slightly. You said the last spot was reserved for me. What does this mean? Can I understand that you like me too? Is that right? Did I understand it correctly? Lin Zhengren hummed slowly. That's right, I like you and I've cared about you for a long time. Fang Meng looked at Lin Zhengren in a daze. Lin Zhengren asked with a smile, anything else? Fang Meng blinked blankly. Nothing else. If you have nothing else, just let go of my clothes and go upstairs to eat. Fang Meng let go of Lin Zhengren's clothes and looked at the boy stupidly. Lin Zhengren smiled. What's wrong? What's your expression like your brain is in a mess? If you have something to say, just say it. It's really okay. Lin Zhengren took Fang Meng's hand. Then let's go quickly. Why are you always in a daze? Fang Meng was dragged forward by him, her heart pounding. Staring at the hands clasped together, feeling the firmness and tenderness of the other's palms. I don't understand what this is doing more and more. What a strange atmosphere. Lin Zhengren walked upstairs step by step, holding Fang Meng's hand. He did it on purpose. Fang Meng could tease him with the image of a white-haired girl, and disguise herself as another identity to confess to him? Could he tease this girl at this time? In Lin Zhengren's opinion, the time he would really be with Fang Meng was probably after Fang Meng finished the competition with He Qing. He really wanted to see how powerful Fang Meng was. So before that, Lin Zhengren planned to whet the girl's appetite. He returned home holding her hand, and before knocking on the door, Lin's Hengren let go of her hand. Mom and Dad, we're back. Feng Meng stared at her empty palms in a daze. And loosened again. Lin Yingjin came to open the door. Ranran and Meng Meng are back, Lin's Hengren answered, holding a drink and walked in. I'm back after shopping. Have you prepared the meal? It will be ready soon. Let's go inside and rest for a while. Feng Meng's mother also came over at this time, and saw her daughter standing in a daze at the door. Meng Meng is back? Meng Meng. Feng Meng looked up at her mother blankly, and then subconsciously looked at Lin's Hengren who had entered the house. She was in a wrong state. Her eyes were filled with shyness. Is this a dream? Am I dreaming? Chapter 418, Lips. Lin's Hengren helped his parents to carry the dishes. Feng Meng was washing her face in the bathroom, trying to prove that this was not a dream. The cold tap water splashed on her face. But it was so real. Feng Meng's mother, who was standing by, saw her daughter washing her face and joked with a smile, Ranran, come to think of it, are there still a lot of girls wearing makeup in college now? Anyway, girls in our generation love beauty, Lin's Hengren replied. Well, most of them wear makeup, especially on weekends, but some don't wear makeup during class. Feng Meng's mother boasted and laughed. That's right. For example, our Meng Meng doesn't wear much makeup, and her skin is very good. Ranran, do you think our Meng Meng is pretty? Feng Meng, who was washing her face, stood there facing the mirror when she heard her mother's question. Lin's Hengren answered casually, of course, Feng Meng is beautiful. Feng Meng's mother was happy. Meng Meng, your brother Ranran praised you for being pretty, come and serve the dishes together. Feng Meng listened to Lin's Hengren's praise tremblingly. Here I am. Lin Xiaoli listened to Feng Meng's mother's words, and suddenly touched her son with her arm. Lin's Hengren looked at his mother in confusion. What are you doing? Lin Xiaoli smacked her lips lightly, obviously asking her son what he thought. This mother was very obvious. What do you think? It stands to reason that her boyfriend already has a girlfriend, and she shouldn't ask about such things anymore, but her son is not normal in this regard. Lin's Hengren raised one hand and made a 6 gesture, and smiled. Lin Xiaoli, what do you mean, 6? He answered. Lin's Hengren continued to serve the dishes, and Feng Meng also helped. Confused Lin Xiaoli walked to her husband and muttered 6. Lin Yingjin asked, what's wrong with you? What are you mumbling about? Lin Xiaoli looked at her husband and whispered, I just asked Ranran what he thought of Meng Meng. Lin Yingjin was curious, what did Ranran say? He said 6. Lin Yingjin was stunned. 6? Ranran played too many games, right? Lin Xiaoli frowned. What games do you play too many? My son doesn't play games as often as you do. Only you are addicted to playing games. You are still not satisfied every day at such an old age? Lin Yingjin didn't refute, but just silently uttered, 6? Lin Xiaoli elbowed her husband and retorted like a spoiled child, what 6 are you talking about? You are talking nonsense here. The meal was served on the dining table. Both families sat down, and Lin Hengren took out the drinks he bought and handed them to Feng Meng. Feng Meng took it and said thank you softly. During the meal, Feng Meng was a little silent, and Lin Hengren didn't like to talk too much while eating. The elders were still chatting enthusiastically, talking about the past and some messy things. Lin Hengren listened to their chatter and picked up a crab from the plate and broke it open. It was full of crab roe. He took a bite of the crab roe and found it delicious. Feng Meng also picked up a crab and asked, when will you go back this afternoon? Lin Hengren broke off the crab legs one by one and ate a leg meat. Don't worry, I don't have anything to do today, I just need to go back before the evening. Yeah. Feng Meng broke it open and looked at the crab roe inside. Although she didn't understand the current situation, she still handed the crab belly to Lin Hengren. Lin Hengren looked at the crab belly on the plate. You don't want to eat the crab roe? Feng Meng didn't look at Lin Hengren. Her ears were still red. I'll just eat the crab legs. You eat it. Lin Hengren inexplicably thought of a certain stupid girl who was the same. If she saw that he was eating something and thought it was good, she would give it to him to eat. Feng Meng saw him in a trance from the corner of her eye and asked curiously, what are you thinking about? Lin Hengren recalled, when He Qing came to her house for dinner before she finished speaking, Feng Meng suddenly puffed up her cheeks and became jealous when the names of other girls were mentioned. She concentrated on eating her crabs, with a stubborn look as if she didn't want to listen. Seeing her like this, Lin Hengren stopped talking. At noon, after the two families finished their meal, Fang Meng was planning to help her uncle and aunt clean up the tableware and wash the plates, but Fang Meng's father suddenly received a call. After talking to the other party for a while, he said, "Wife, who called me? Let's go back after helping to clean up." Lin Yingjin, leaving so early? At least have some tea and rest after dinner? Lin Xiaoli said politely. Yes, there's no hurry to leave. Fang Meng's father was not so polite because he knew him. It's company business, it's okay. Anyway, our two families are close. We can get together again when we have time. Next time it's your turn to visit our house, we will treat your family well. Seeing that the other party really had something to do, Lin Yingjin didn't stay any longer. Since you have something to do, you don't have to help us clean up these dishes. You guys go ahead and get together next time. Fang Meng's mother also knew that work was the most important. Okay, then we'll leave. Meng, say hello and goodbye to your brother Ranran. Fang Meng didn't expect to leave in such a hurry. Look at Lin Hengren. Lin Hengren's family sent Fang Meng's family downstairs. The elders said goodbye to each other, and Fang Meng stood in the corridor with Lin Hengren and said goodbye. Fang Meng, I'm going back. Well, go slowly on the way. She felt that this way of saying goodbye was so ordinary. Sure enough, the scene just now was not a confession. Although it really looked like it, and Lin Hengren also said in person that he liked me, but this kind of conversation. Then I'm leaving. She was reluctant to leave. Lin Hengren saw that she was not very happy, and called, Fang Meng. The moment he called her, Fang Meng became energetic. Yes, I'm here. What's wrong? I know you are. He smiled and said, come over here. Because the elders were still saying goodbye and politely downstairs, no one saw it here, so Fang Meng walked over without thinking too much. Come closer, Lin Hengren said again. Fang Meng didn't understand what he was going to do, so she took 2 more steps and stood in front of him, very close. What's the matter? After she asked, Lin Hengren smiled, which made Fang Meng's heart stop. Lin Hengren slowly hugged Fang Meng. Go slowly on the road. Bye. Fang Meng was hugged by him and smelled his scent. Her voice was like the hum of a mosquito, her face was flushed, and the whole person was floating. Bye. A few minutes later, it was a complete farewell. Fang Meng's parents drove home with their daughter. Fang Meng lowered her head and sat in the back seat with her cheeks smoky. She pursed her lips hard, and her eyes were puzzled and shy. She didn't understand, couldn't tell anything. Fang Meng's father drove the car and said, Old Lin hasn't changed much in so many years. He has a good relationship with Xiaoli. You can see that when they were eating, they touched each other with their arms. It's been so many years. The mother also had a lot of fun this time. They really have a good relationship. Speaking of Meng, turning back to ask her daughter, how was the fun this time? The daughter didn't say anything again. Meng, Fang Meng looked up with a red face. Huh? What's wrong, Mom? Fang Meng's mother looked at her daughter's shy look and wanted to laugh. What's wrong with you? Why do you look so shy? You're in a daze again after coming back from shopping with your brother Ranran. Fang Meng looked out the car window and stammered, Nothing. Fang Meng's mother didn't ask much, but turned around and knew what her daughter was thinking. If you really have an idea, hurry up. I think your brother Ranran likes you very much. Fang Meng's father was not in a hurry. Why are you always in a hurry? Our daughter hasn't graduated from college yet, Fang Meng's mother complained. What do you know? Don't you know that youth is gone forever? Okay, you're doing that youth literature thing again. Meng, you'd better never learn from your mother in the future. Fang Meng in the back seat didn't hear it at all. She just kept recalling the scene just now. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 419, Fang Meng in Confusion. That night, Fang Meng had already returned to the rental house alone, took a shower and lay on the bed. Her long silver white hair spread on the pillow, and her pure white pajamas made her look very dreamy under the moonlight. She stared at the bedroom light on the ceiling in a trance. After staring for an hour or 2 hours, she suddenly sat up without any warning, her face flushed as she questioned the air. What's going on? What is my relationship with him now? What exactly does it mean to be in love? The young and ignorant girl didn't know how to be together. She was so confused that she took out her mobile phone to find Lin Hengren's WeChat and wanted to send him a message. But then she thought, Lin Hengren should have other girls around him now? After all, he's living with Kyankian and the others now. What are they doing now? If she sent a message, they would see it, but she couldn't control it if she didn't send it. She had been so upset by Lin Sehengren's words and actions during the day that she didn't want to eat or drink. She didn't even eat much dinner tonight. Half an hour later, Lin Sehengren on the other side received a message from Fang Meng on his mobile phone. Good night. Lin Sehengren looked at the two words on the phone and replied, you too, good night. Fang Meng stared at Lin Sehengren's message on the phone in a daze. She hugged her legs on the bed, her eyes sparkling and trembling, and her ears were red. He replied immediately. Has he been looking at his phone? Or is he waiting for my message? Fang Meng closed her eyes and hugged herself, recalling the hug during the day and muttering to herself, but it was so comfortable to be hugged by him in the corridor today. It would be better if he used a little more strength, it would be better if it was a little painful. He is really strong. At the same time, at this moment in the villa, Lin Sehengren sat on the bed in the bedroom, accepting the questions of the 5 women who formed a semicircle, asking what the white-haired girl was like. After Zhang Zuli mentioned this in the morning, everyone knew about the white-haired girl and became wary of the omnipotent girl. They asked Lin Sehengren if he would increase the number of girlfriends to 7. Seeing their jealous looks, Lin Sehengren was helpless. If I say 6, then it's 6. Have I ever broken my promise to you guys? Everyone was relieved when they heard this. As long as Lin Sehengren dared to say this, he would not lie to everyone. 2 days later, Monday class. Lin Sehengren sat in the back row and read extracurricular books as usual. He Qing, Zhang Zuli, Han Wenwen and Zhang Jin sat next to Lin Sehengren. Fang Meng was secretly peeking in the other row. Han Wenwen, who was lying on the table, had a bag of cherries on her legs. She ate one herself and found it quite sweet. So she secretly passed one to Lin Sehengren's mouth while the teacher was not noticing. Brother Sehengren, try it. I won't eat it. You eat it. Try it. I open your mouth. Lin Sehengren opened his mouth and ate it. Han Wenwen stretched out her hand and put it to her mouth, meaning that Lin Sehengren should spit the cherry seeds into her hand after eating the flesh. It was not the first time for the two of them to do this, and the other party spit it out very skillfully. Han Wenwen took back her hand and asked with a smile, how does it taste? It must be delicious if Wenwen feeds it. The ones I bought this time are quite sweet. He right. Han Wenwen happily threw the cherries into another bag and continued to share the cherries with other sisters. This is a daily scene between lovers. Although Fang Meng was jealous in the past, she would not show it too strongly. She was used to it. But today, she actually felt sour in her heart, so uncomfortable that her heartbeat seemed to be half a beat slower. Just eat cherries out of curiosity. Why do you have to feed them? Lin Sehengren is so good, can't he eat cherries? Han Wenwen has to feed him by hand, and the seeds have to be spit into her hand. She also wants to feed Lin Sehengren by hand, and she also wants Lin Sehengren to spit the seeds into her hand, and then she can secretly lick the palm of her hand where he spit the seeds like a kitten, but these things are obviously impossible. The bell rang, and it was lunchtime at noon again. Lin Sehengren passed by Fang Meng again. Greeting, let's go eat. Fang Meng packed her things and replied with a red face, yes, let's go eat. Zhang Jin asked coldly, Xiao Meng, do you want to join us? Fang Meng wanted to say no as usual, but hesitated and subconsciously looked at Lin Sehengren, as if to see what he meant. Lin Sehengren almost continued what Zhang Jin said, let's go together. Fang Meng was happy and nodded, okay, let's go together. I haven't eaten with Kyankian for a long time. Indeed, Zhang Jin had no expression. Zhang Zuli and Han Wenwen saw the scene from behind and looked at each other with confusion. Xiao He Qing didn't see it, but saw that Wenwen and Lily had strange expressions, and was curious, what's wrong with you two? Zhang Zuli pointed at Fang Meng's expression. He Qing reacted after seeing it, classmate Fang Meng's face seems a little red today. Zhang Zuli's analysis was arrogant and meaningful, more than a little red. Why do I feel that Fang Meng's eyes are weird when she looks at Sehengren? Is she usually like this? Han Wenwen also had a hint of jealousy when she spoke. I think Brother Sehengren seems to be in love again. Last week, Brother Sehengren went home and seemed to get along well with Fang Meng. Zhang Zuli snorted and pursed her lips. I think so too. The 6 people arrived at the restaurant. After buying the dishes, the whole family sat together. Because today was the rare day for Fang Meng to eat with everyone, Zhang Jin must have sat next to Fang Meng. Xiao Meng, it's been a long time since we had dinner together. The 1 month leave you asked for me is almost over. It's time to come back. Feng Meng thought that a month was almost up, but where would she live if she came back? If Qian lives with Lin Sehengren now, why not live with Lin Sehengren too? I want to be together, but not as his assistant. Qian, let's do it after the new year. I still have some things to finish this year. Jiang Jin respected Feng Meng's idea. Okay, then after the new year, Feng Meng joked, Qian, you seem to be in much better condition after being with Lin Sehengren recently, and your skin has become better. Jiang Jin smiled, because he is very good to me. I am much happier with him than I thought, and sleeping together is more comfortable than I thought. Feng Meng shuddered and asked shyly, sleeping? You should be talking about ordinary sleeping, right? Jiang Zuli was listening on the side, holding chopsticks and complaining with disdain in her eyes. What are you two best friends talking about? Qian, is this something you can talk about? Jiang Jin was puzzled. You can still talk about Xianmeng. She and I grew up together. Jiang Zuli. Feng Meng didn't know what to say now, but just glanced at Lin Sehengren who was eating. Qian and Lin Sehengren had indeed slept together. Jiang Zuli narrowed her eyes and asked Feng Meng, what are you looking at? No. I'm not looking at anyone. I just turned my head casually. Jiang Zuli's eagle-like eyes probed. Really? Did you really just turn your head casually? Feng Meng grinned awkwardly. Really? Chapter 420 University Spring Festival. Winter vacation and New Year are approaching. After a class, Jiang Jingxi, who was wearing a long skirt, clapped her hands and walked into the classroom. Classmates, I'll take a few minutes from you. I have something to tell you. Winter vacation is coming soon. The school has held a special meeting on this aspect. We have specially discussed the safety of students going home for the new year and some accidents that are easy to happen in the past. Facing the winter vacation, college and high school students have completely different attitudes. All high school students look forward to the holiday because they are exhausted from studying all day, and this is a rare opportunity to take a breath. But in college, the number of people who want to take a vacation has dropped from 1 to 50 hours and 50 minutes. Some are happy and some are sad, especially college students who are in love. Winter and summer vacations are famous breakup seasons. After all, more than a month of not seeing each other is still too long for couples in the passionate period. In the fast food era, these two vacations are like a big knife to frantically cut off the unstable love. And for Lin Sehengren's family, this year's New Year will definitely be very busy. After the counselors' meeting at the school, Lin Sehengren's family also held a family meeting in the villa at night. Lin Sehengren sat in the main seat on the sofa, and the 5 girls sat around him in a semicircle. Everyone was even very serious, sitting upright, just like a family meeting. Lin Sehengren asked everyone about their plans for the spring festival. Jiang Zuli spoke first. The company has asked me to do a few entertainment programs during the winter vacation. I may be busy this winter vacation. Lin Sehengren nodded. I know about Lily's program. This is quite important, Jiang Zuli added, but Sehengren, I don't want to participate in the program on New Year's Eve. Jiang Jingxi reminded. Lily, are you sure? That program has a very high ratings. Nowadays, not so many young people watch the gala. On the contrary, these entertainment programs have a high ratings among the younger generation. If you don't participate, you may give up such good popularity, and you won't have a chance to make up for it. Jiang Zuli laughed. Of course I know about this kind of thing. The popularity in the entertainment industry is racing against time, but, she looked at Lin Sehengren and suddenly snorted, I'm afraid that if I don't spend the new year with some idiot, that idiot will feel that something is missing, so compared to the popularity of the program, I still want to spend the new year with Sehengren. I don't lack that little money. Lin Sehengren reached out and touched Lily's head. Are you sure? Jiang Zuli blushed and nodded proudly. It's confirmed. I will participate in the program around the spring festival, but I will spend the important few days with you, an idiot, and will not participate in the program. Lin Sehengren responded. Okay, then Lily's matter is settled, and then it will be Jingxi and Qian. Jiang Jin said coldly. I don't have any activities during the new year. I just read books and study to recharge myself and handle work in the company every day. Just like last year, I will definitely spend the spring festival with Ranran. This is my first year with Ranran, and I won't go anywhere. Okay, what about Jingxi? Jiang Jingxi felt a little sad at the thought of the new year, and let out a long sigh. There are a lot of miscellaneous things in the company during the spring festival, and now the two companies are about to merge. I guess I won't have much time except for the New Year holidays. Lin Sehengren, I will also go to the company during this time. Jiang Jingshi nodded. Some major decisions will definitely require you to come forward, such as the annual meeting. As for the new year, I will definitely be with Zhang like Kaianqian. Now Kaianqian and I are officially fiancé. According to the rules, we must go to Zhang's house to pay New Year's greetings in the first year. Lin's Hengren also touched their heads, just like the Lin family's unique sense of ritual. The two sisters also smiled. Only Xiao Healy and He Qing were left. Han Wenwen originally said quickly, I don't have anything to do during the new year, and I don't have to broadcast live every day during the new year. During the holidays, I will mainly stay with brothers Hengren, and I also have a secretary job. Little He Qing became a little entangled. I also want to be with everyone during the new year, but during the holidays I want to go back to see grandma and mom. After all, I haven't been back for a while, and I miss my mom a little. Han Wenwen knew little He Qing's troubles. It won't be easy to buy tickets to go back and forth during the new year. Little He Qing nodded. Well, it's just that this place is a bit troublesome. In fact, it would be best for me to go back after the holiday, but my mother has called me several times recently, and I want to go back earlier. Lin's Hengren said, isn't it just a problem of going back and forth? Leave it to me, I'll find a way for you. Little He Qing, who was originally troubled by this matter, was surprised. Really? But it's really hard to buy tickets before the new year. I basically can't come back before the new year if I go back to my hometown. What other good ways can I come back? Lin's Hengren said confidently, I can't tell you the specific method, but just leave it to me. The girls looked at each other and smiled. Little He Qing also grinned in admiration. Although no one knew what Lin's Hengren was up to, once Lin's Hengren opened his mouth, he never broke his promise. This was the absolute trust that the girls had in their main man. Little He Qing nodded. Okay, then I'll listen to you. I'll do whatever you say. Han Wenwen raised her hand. Then if Little He Qing can go back before the new year and come back a few days before the new year, I also want to go back to the south with you to see my uncle and aunt, brothers Hengren. Is that okay? Lin's Hengren looked at the little fox lovingly. Of course, Wenwen, let's go together. The little fox took Little He Qing's arm and mentioned an interesting topic. By the way, Little He Qing, there will be a once-in-a-decade year-end Liangxin festival at the end of this year. Then we can take brothers Hengren to go shopping. Little He Qing hummed happily. I haven't been to Liangxin festival for a long time. It is said that there are many new things now. Lin's Hengren felt familiar with the name Liangxin festival. This was the festival that Han Wenwen mentioned when she had a fever in junior high school. It can determine marriage, and he really wants to go and see it. Lin's Hengren, that's it. According to everyone's schedule, we will take care of our own things before the new year, and then get together to celebrate the new year during the new year. Everyone responded and finalized the plan. The next day, Lin's Hengren went to school as usual. There were only a few days left before the winter vacation. During class, Lin's Hengren went to the bathroom. Fang Meng saw him and followed him. She waited quietly for Lin's Hengren outside the bathroom. Lin's Hengren came out to wash his hands and saw Fang Meng. Fang Meng stood there, hesitated for a moment and asked, this year's spring festival. Can I spend the new year with you? She didn't know their current relationship, but Lin's Hengren had indeed been closer to her recently. This question was also her small confirmation of their relationship, because it was impossible for a man and a woman to spend the new year together if they didn't have a very good relationship. Lin's Hengren smiled and replied, of course, in fact, if you didn't ask me, I would have invited you. Fang Meng's eyes trembled, flattered. Really? She suddenly plucked up the courage and asked with a red face, Lin's Hengren, can I ask you another question? In your eyes, what is our relationship now? Last time you said you like me too. I don't know what that means. Can you tell me more clearly? Lin's Hengren thought for a moment and replied, if I were to say, we should be boyfriend and girlfriend who are about to be together. Chapter 421 Busy Holidays. We're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend soon, she repeated. Her voice was a few decibels lower. Her face was a little more dazed. Lin's Hengren walked past him. See you during the Chinese New Year. Fang Meng watched him pass by her, and suddenly turned around. So we're going to be together soon, right? Then when will we really become boyfriend and girlfriend? Lin's Hengren stopped and turned sideways to ask, when do you want to be together? Fang Meng wanted to be together now. She had liked Lin's Hengren for a long time. Especially after being disturbed by Lin's Hengren recently, she was eager to follow him all day long and get the same treatment as Kaianqian and the others. She wanted to be bullied by Lin's Hengren. But the reality didn't allow her to speak so hastily. She took a step back and said excitedly, "This spring festival, is it okay? Can you be my boyfriend this spring festival? We'll be officially together." Lin Zhengren didn't say much, and simply replied, "Okay, then we'll be together during the spring festival." Feng Meng raised her eyebrows slightly, and her pupils flickered. I couldn't help but smile subconsciously. It's a deal, it's a deal. Winter vacation finally arrived in a few days, and all the students from Tsinghua University and Peking University returned to their hometowns across the country. Lin Zhengren's family also gathered in the villa. I started to pack up and prepare to leave the villa temporarily. During the more than 1 month during the Chinese New Year, since Lin Zhengren was not living here, the others must have gone back to their own homes and mothers, and they all had things to do. They would only get together again during the Chinese New Year. Little He Qing is an exception, of course. She will stay here for a few more days. Lin Zhengren said, "He Qing, then you stay here first. After I finish the merger of the company with Jingxi, Qianqian and Wenwen this week, I will accompany you and Wenwen back to my hometown." He Qing nodded and asked in a low voice, "Then Lin Zhengren, you won't be back these few nights?" "Sister Zhang, Qianqian and Wenwen won't be back either. Lin Zhengren, Jingxi and Qianqian will just live in the company. The sooner we deal with it, the sooner we can finish it. But we can't just leave you here alone. Wenwen, how about you come back at night to accompany little He Qing after you're done with your work during the day?" Han Wenwen took little He Qing's arm. "Okay, then I'll come back at night to accompany Xiao Wenqing." Little He Qing was afraid that she would cause trouble to everyone. "Actually, there's no need to ask Wenwen to accompany me." "I'm not afraid," Lin Zhengren questioned. "Aren't you afraid?" Little He Qing grinned awkwardly and didn't dare to nod again. She looked at the villa where she usually lived, although it was quite lively when everyone was together. But once everyone left, Xiao Heqing would feel a little panic in such a large 3-story villa with an area of several hundred square meters. Lin Zhengren touched his head and comforted him. "Okay, let Wenwen accompany you." Xiao Heqing had to nod, a little guilty. "I'm sorry to trouble you and Wenwen," Han Wenwen retorted. "What are you talking about, Xiao Qingqing? Just listen to Brother Zhengren's arrangements." Lin Zhengren, "Okay, everyone else pack up and let's go." The winter vacation officially began, and it was indeed busy enough. First of all, Zhang Zuli became famous on music programs and is now very popular. She even has to shoot several programs a day. There are also countless reporters who have signed contracts with Jiangxi Company to do special interviews all day long. Zhang Zuli is actually exhausted every day. However, due to Zhang Zuli's explosive popularity, it also indirectly boosted the factory income of Zhang Zuli's parents. After all, with such a star daughter and a big boss son-in-law, many times business talks are done at a word, and they are confident. In addition, Jiangxi Company and Zhang Group also completely announced the merger documents a few days later. The employees of the two companies began to uniformly adjust their welfare policies and employee transfers. The two companies after the merger are collectively called Zhang Group. Now it has undoubtedly become the largest company in the province, with tens of thousands of employees and more than 1,000 major operating projects each year. It is at the top of the province with absolute strength. During this period after the merger holiday, Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin have a lot of work every day, and Han Wenwen, as Lin Zhengren's personal secretary, is also busy. Not to mention Lin Zhengren, all kinds of important documents must be passed through his hands and signed by the general manager. At least thousands of documents must be read every day, and the four people have hardly stopped in the past few days after the holiday. Fortunately, this busy day is completely over after the merger. Everything slowly began to get on track. Today is the 6th day after the holiday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sitting in front of the general manager's desk, Lin Zhengren signed the last important document on hand. He stretched out his hand and was about to ask Han Wenwen anything else. As a result, Han Wenwen suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, lay on Lin Zhengren, and acted coquettishly and aggrievedly. "There are no more documents. It's over for today. Brother Zhengren, I'm so tired these 2 days I really can't run anymore. I haven't felt so tired in a long time." Lin Zhengren saw her coquettish look, looked at the hip skirt and high heels she was wearing, and touched her thigh distressed. "Didn't I tell you that you don't have to dress like other secretaries? If you are tired of high heels, just change into something casual. Why do you have to be so formal?" Han Wenwen blinked her eyes in a coquettish look and sat on Lin Zhengren's lap. She looked at him straight. After all, This is a big company. It would be unserious if you dress so casually. And isn't Brother Zhengren like Wenwen to wear high heels? They look good. Lin Zhengren put his arm around her waist. It looks good, but I definitely prefer you to be more relaxed than to be at ease. But you didn't listen at all. You insisted on wearing it secretly even though I told you not to. Han Wenwen leaned her head on Lin Zhengren's neck, and a unique body fragrance hid her face. The main reason I'm tired is not because of what I wear. The most important thing is that there has been too much work these 2 days. Brothers Zhengren, Sister Jing and Kyankian are busy every day. They can't even sleep for a long time. Brother Zhengren doesn't take care of Wenwen at all, huh? Han Wenwen deliberately looked at him and slowed down her speech. What? Brother Zhengren hasn't taken care of Wenwen for several days. So Wenwen will naturally be tired. A fox needs to absorb the essence of the man she loves to survive. Doesn't Brother Zhengren know? After that, she bit Lin Zhengren's neck. Lin Zhengren put his arm around her slender waist. We are almost done with these 2 days. Tomorrow night. Han Wenwen shook her head when she heard that she wanted to do it tomorrow night. No, isn't it already done? Obviously there is nothing to do in the past 2 days. I want it now. Even if you want it, you can't just say you want it, right? I'm in the company now. Han Wenwen hugged Lin Zhengren's neck with a look of wanting to cry. No, I want it now. I want it now. Especially since Brother Zhengren mentioned it, I want it even more. I want Brother Zhengren to kiss me, or I'm going to cry. She was about to cry when she said that, which made Lin Zhengren feel distressed. Han Wenwen really worked hard these days. He wiped her tears with his hand. Okay, go to bed. I will take good care of you for 2 hours. There are single beds behind the offices of the general manager and the deputy general manager, which can provide temporary rest. Han Wenwen smiled immediately when she heard it, and twisted her waist. Really? Then go away. Don't waste this precious time. A night of spring is worth 1,000 gold. Chapter 422, Fight. Helplessly, Lin Zhengren had to pick up the fox princess and lock the door. They went to the bed in the back and made love. In the other office of the 2 deputy general managers, Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingxi were also handling today's work. The 2 sisters were both wearing women's suits and looked serious. Zhang Jingxi looked at the documents and asked the secretary Pan Lin standing beside her, "What time is it?" Pan Lin replied, 4 o'clock, President Zhang. Zhang Jingxi stopped writing with her pen. 4 o'clock? So late? Zhang hasn't finished yet. Today's work is obviously less than yesterday's. According to Zhang's speed, he must have finished it now. However, Lin Zhengren, who usually comes to Zhang Jingxi after finishing his work, didn't come today. Pan Lin also understood what Zhang Jingxi meant. Then I'll go and take a look, Zhang Jingxi responded. If it's not finished, ask how much is left. At this time, Wenwen should go back to company He Qing. Okay, Pan Lin walked out of Zhang Jingxi's office and tiptoed to Lin Zhengren's office. As a result, before she even walked in, she found that the office door was closed. You should know that usually the doors of Lin Zhengren and Zhang Jingxi are half open, which is also convenient for the company's subordinates to knock on the door and come in. A completely closed door basically means that the boss is resting inside, or there is something more important being discussed, which is not convenient for others to see or hear. But today's situation is obviously not the latter, because Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingxi are in their respective offices, and no customers come to see them, so no one will discuss anything with Lin Zhengren. Does that mean that Mr. Lin is resting? She walked over and knocked on the door very gently with her hand. Mr. Lin? Mr. Lin, are you resting? Mr. Zhang asked me to come over to ask if you are done with your work. There was no reply from inside. Now Lin Zhengren and Han Wenwen were making out and couldn't pay attention to Pan Lin. The little fox's legs also wrapped around Lin Zhengren, not letting him leave at all. Pan Lin had to go back and report to Zhang Jingxi. Boss Zhang, Boss Lin's door is closed. It seems he is resting. I didn't dare to knock too loudly. Zhang Jingxi felt distressed when she heard about resting. Then don't knock. Maybe Zhang is really too tired these 2 days, with meetings and looking at various contracts. Let him rest for a while. Where is Wenwen? Where is she? You can arrange a car for Wenwen at this time to take her back to the villa. I'll call her. Pan Lin took out her mobile phone and found Han Wenwen's phone number and called her. After ringing for a while, the other party hung up. What Pan Lin didn't even know was that Han Wenwen had muted her phone at this moment. A spring night is worth 1,000 gold and no one can disturb it. Hang up, Pan Lin replied to Zhang Jingxi. Jiang Jingshi frowned slightly, but soon she understood and her eyes were shocked, and jealousy appeared on her face. Wenwen was doing something with Zhang Zheng, right? Otherwise, why would he lock the door in broad daylight? Come to think of it, Zhang Zheng's physical strength is far superior to her and Qianqian. How could he rest in the office in broad daylight? That little fox is really omnipresent. Obviously, the sisters haven't been moistened these days, and they all want it. But she got there first. So Jiang Jingshi had to raise her hand. Okay, no need to fight. Wait until I finish signing this document in my hand and you pack up and go home. You don't have to stay with me tonight. You've been working overtime for a long time these days and you're exhausted. It's okay, Mr. Jiang. This is my job. Pan Lin knew Jiang Jingshi's habits very well. Since Mr. Jiang wanted her to go home, there must be something that she didn't want to be interfered with. After watching the other party sign the last document, she picked it up and said, "Then I'll go pack up. You can call me anytime if you have anything." "Okay, go ahead." After Pan Lin left the office, Jiang Jingshi also put on the pen cap. Sitting back in the boss chair, she turned her head and looked out the window with some helplessness. Although she was eager, she was not so anxious, but when she thought about Wenwen being loved by Zhang Zheng now, the vacancy of more than a week made Jiang Jingshi blush at this moment, and she bit her lips halfway. It was as if there was a piece missing in her heart, which needed to be filled urgently. "No, let Qianqian go back to rest tonight. I'll stay here with Zhang Zheng by myself." Who knew that just as she finished thinking, Jiang Jin suddenly walked in with a cold face and said, "Sister, you've been tired these days. Why don't you go back to rest tonight? I'll stay here with Ranran." Jiang Jingshi was startled when she heard the voice and turned to look at her sister. It was obvious from Jiang Jin's expression that she also knew that Lin Sehengren's office door was locked and he was doing something with Han Wenwen. The two sisters thought of the same thing again. But since there was no one else around, Jiang Jingshi didn't act pretentiously. "Do you think it's possible? I won't go back, you go back and rest." Jiang Jin stared at her sister, and realized that her sister also knew what Lin Sehengren was doing. There was a slight desire in her cold eyes, and she closed the door. "Then what should I do? After Wenwen leaves, I must go to accompany Ranran. Sister, let's talk about it in the second half of the night." Jiang Jingshi stood up unconvinced. "Qianqian, you are dreaming. I am the elder sister and you are the younger sister. I should go first to accompany Zhang Zhen. You wait until the second half of the night. The older ones should give way to the younger ones. I'll go first. Where's this theory from? Besides, you are so old and still young. Ladies first. I'll go first." Jiang Jin was curious. What does ladies first mean? Am I not a woman? Jiang Jingshi's tone was ordinary, as if it was true. Compared to me, you are not. Even if you are not as feminine as me, your sister. Zhang Zheng said that I am the most gentle and feminine. Jiang Jin gritted her teeth, as if she had been poked at a certain point. Nonsense. Ranran said I am the most beautiful. I am definitely more feminine than my sister. In Ranran's heart, I am the most beautiful. You are talking nonsense. The two sisters looked at each other, and there were sparks of lightning in their eyes. In the end, both of them turned their heads and snorted coldly. No one was willing to look at each other, and they didn't look like deputy general managers. After another hour of waiting, Han Wenwen, wearing a hip skirt, black stockings and high heels, came out of the office with Lin Sehengren very happily and contentedly. Lin Sehengren rubbed a little fox's head, and Han Wenwen's invisible nine tails swayed back and forth. She was so happy and satisfied. Lin Sehengren said gently, "I still have one last bit of work to do today. You can take the bus back." I went back a little later than usual today. I guess He Qing is waiting anxiously at home. Han Wenwen hummed and tilted her head to act coquettishly. "Wenwen does whatever Brother Sehengren says. Let's go see if Jingshi and Qianqian are done." The two went to Jiang Jingshi's office together, but found that the two sisters were sitting on the sofa angrily. No one looked at each other, and they were very proud. It was not until Lin Sehengren appeared that the two sisters stopped the silent confrontation and quickly got up and went to Lin Sehengren. "Jiang Jingshi said gently, Zhang Zheng, are you done?" Jiang Jin's cold voice also became much gentler. "Ranran, you are here." The two sisters looked at the happy Han Wenwen with envy and jealousy. Han Wenwen was content to hold Lin Sehengren's arm. Now she was still savoring it. So she was not in the mood to think about anything else. Seeing the two sisters' completely different attitudes from usual, Lin Sehengren guessed what they wanted to do. "Jingshi Qianqian, Are you done? The sisters nodded quickly. We are done, they said together. Lin's Hengren, then tonight, the two sisters said in unison, I'll stay here with you. Let my elder sister go back to rest. I'll stay here with you. Let my younger sister go back to rest. Chapter 423, Sisters Fighting. Lin's Hengren and the two sisters bid farewell to Han Wenwen, and Han Wenwen happily left in the car. Before Han Wenwen got in the car, Lin's Hengren also told her, Wenwen, wait for me to call you tomorrow morning. If I finish all the work tonight, you don't have to come to the company tomorrow. I will take you and He Qing back to the south directly. Han Wenwen nodded, with invisible flowers floating around her. Okay, I got it, brothers Hengren, then I'll go home. Let's go. Drive slowly. The female driver half bowed. Don't worry, Mr. Lin. The driver took Han Wenwen and disappeared at the end of the road. Lin's Hengren looked back at the sisters' meaningful expressions of longing for something. There was sweat on his forehead. Jingshi, Qianqian, are you too hungry? Let's eat first. The two sisters shook their heads together. Jingshi said in a gentle voice, I have already prepared Hang's dinner. If you are hungry, I will ask someone to put the food in the office. Lin's Hengren smiled helplessly and said, let's have a simple meal together. How can we not eat at night after a busy day? If there's anything, we can talk about it after dinner. The head of the family has spoken, and the two sisters can't refute it. Although the five sisters have different personalities, no matter who they are, they all listen to Lin's Hengren. The three of them went to the general manager's office together and sat on the sofa. After Jingshi sent a message, Pan Lin just put all the food away before leaving get off work. Lin's Hengren handed them chopsticks. Eat quickly, at least have a few bites. The three of them devoured the 3 dishes and 1 soup on the table together. But maybe it was really because Han Wenwen sneaking away was aroused by the addiction, and the two sisters were still thinking about something when they were eating. This caused a grain of rice to stick to Lin's Hengren's mouth when he was eating. The two sisters were very excited when they saw it, and they all wanted to go over and eat the rice grains stuck to Lin's Hengren's mouth. As a result, their foreheads touched each other by coincidence, and they both groaned in pain and covered their foreheads. Lin's Hengren laughed. You two are really sisters. Zhang Jin glared at her elder sister, and Zhang Jingshi glared at her younger sister. They both snorted. Zhang Jin looked at Lin's Hengren, put down her hand that was covering her forehead, took Lin's Hengren's arm, and said coldly with a slightly red cheek, Ranrun, I'll be frank, I want you to accompany me tonight. Otherwise I can't sleep. Zhang Jingshi didn't expect her sister to be so straightforward. She put down her chopsticks and took Lin's Hengren's arm. At this time, whoever backs down would have to stay up late. Zhang. I want you to accompany me too. Lin's Hengren looked at the two of them and blamed the fox. I know what you two want to do, but everything has to have an order, right? Rock, paper, scissors. Zhang Jin and Zhang Jingshi looked at each other and nodded. Okay, as a talented player, Zhang Jin was very confident about this kind of game, because this kind of game is very common and practical in life. So she had learned how to win before, so she was sure to win. But in the same way, although Zhang Jingshi was not good at playing this kind of game, she knew her sister too well. The truth of rock paper scissors is actually to observe the other party's behavior habits and punching logic, so she was sure to win. 3, 2, 1, start, Lin's Hengren said, and the sisters played paper together. Punched together. Played scissors together. Punched together. Played paper together. Played paper together. 2 minutes later, the winner was still unknown. Lin's Hengren looked at the two people waving their arms, with sweat on his forehead. He raised his hand. Stop. That's enough. It was this pair of sisters. Think about it, they have been fighting since they were young. How can it be so easy to win or lose in various games? Lin's Hengren hugged the two people's waists and held them in his arms. Lin's Hengren thought for a while and suggested, I do have a way, but I don't know if you two are willing to do it. Zhang Jin was puzzled. What way? Zhang Jingshi looked at Lin's Hengren. She wanted to ask what the way was, but as a sister, she knew a lot of things. Suddenly she realized something and her face almost flushed. Zhang, you mean? Zhang Jingshi lowered her head and bit her lips shyly. This won't work. Although Qianqian and I are sisters, this kind of thing. Zhang Jin was puzzled. Sister, what's wrong with you? Ranran hasn't said what the way is yet. Zhang Jingshi looked at her sister with tenderness and seemed to have some watery eyes. Zhang Jin was no longer a girl who knew nothing. She finally reacted and immediately blushed and lowered her head. How about this, my sister and I, after a brief entanglement? Jing Jingshi put her hand to her mouth and whispered, actually, it's nothing to think about it. After all, Kyankian and I have been together since we were young, we take baths together, and we are used to many things. Jiang Jin hummed, yes, since we can't tell who will win, this may be the best way, but I haven't tried it before, so I don't know how it will turn out. The two sisters looked at each other, and then looked at Lin Zhengren and answered in unison, okay. Lin Zhengren looked at the decision that the two had been struggling with for a long time, but he was confused, and always felt that these two guys seemed to have misunderstood his meaning. Although Lin Zhengren was a playboy, he actually loved these girls very much and would not ask for anything. After all, the 5 girls actually listened to Lin Zhengren completely. Even if he asked for something excessive, the 5 girls would agree in the end even if they were not happy. But the reason why Lin Zhengren didn't do this for so long was that he didn't want to force these girls who liked him to do things they didn't want to do. He also wanted them to live happily and be happy with him. So the solution someone had just thought of was not what the sisters had thought of, but it was not going to end well at the moment. Are you too sure? He asked again. The two sisters blushed and kissed Lin Zhengren's lips at the same time. In unison, sure, Jiang Jingshi added, we are all your girlfriends anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? In this situation, Lin Zhengren had to let it go. He stood up, took the hands of the 2 girls, locked the door, and the 3 of them went to the rest bed behind the general manager's office. Tonight was destined to be another sleepless night. The next morning, the sun was shining brightly. The sun shone into the house through the window. On the bed in the office, Lin Zhengren hugged the 2 sleeping sisters, one on each side. They slept soundly, their long hair draped over each other's bodies, and they finally had a good night of relaxation after a week of silence. Lin Zhengren wanted to see what time it was. As a result, Jiang Jin opened her eyes first. Ranran? Are you awake? Jiang Jingshi was also awakened. Zhang Zhang? Is it daybreak? The 2 sisters looked at each other unexpectedly, and then looked away with red faces. Lin Zhengren took out his mobile phone and checked the time. Jingshi, Kyankian, I have to go back to the south with He Qing today, and it will probably take 2 weeks to come back. Although the 2 sisters knew that Lin Zhengren was going to the south, they were very reluctant to hear that they would not be able to meet for 2 weeks. They didn't have the heart to think about anything else. Both of them clung to Lin Zhengren's arms. Lin Zhengren hugged them. I will be away for the next 2 weeks, and the company is counting on you too. The 2 sisters kissed Lin Zhengren on the cheek together. Without saying much, they just hugged him tightly. My sister and I will wait for you to come back. Kyankian and I will wait for you, Lin Zhengren promised. I will be back before the spring festival, and call me anytime if you miss me. Chapter 424 Farewell. Since you got married to the princess, you have experienced a lot in the boundless territory. In just 2 months, you accompanied Miss Zhang to participate in the martial arts conference held every 10 years, and helped Miss Zhang win the championship in this martial arts conference, becoming famous overnight. People from all over the martial arts world admired you and came from all over the Linky continent to visit and observe. Now Miss Zhang has become the undisputed #1 female hero in the martial arts world. Later, you accompanied the princess to participate in a conference held by the court. The princess showed her strength at the conference. After she became a Taoist partner with you, her strength increased greatly and she was invincible. The ministers and people were impressed and admired her. She has been recognized as the #1 fighting force in the Imperial City. Then you also helped the demon cult witch to participate in the magic attack competition. The demon cult witch's sorcery and magic skills have long been beyond the reach of ordinary people due to your training and nourishment over the years, so she has attracted attention since entering the competition, and later she won the first place without a doubt. At the same time, the 2 organizations led by the Imperial City Empress and the Princess secretly also merged because of your unification. Now all the teams and organizations in the Imperial City have pledged allegiance to you, regardless of friend or foe. The leader of the largest organization in the boundless territory, you have seen him many times in the above events these days, and you have also found out his true identity during the slow investigation. You never thought that the leader of the boundless territory was Feng Meng, the assassin accompanying the princess, who was someone around you. This surprised you very much. Before you completely subdue the other party, you know you have to be careful, because according to rumors on the mainland, the leader of the organization, the assassin Feng Meng, is a unique genius among the younger generation. with talents far beyond ordinary people and extraordinary abilities. Even if you are now the best in the world, you must not take it lightly when facing this organization. Through the above events, you have gained a lot of spiritual experience. Your spiritual level is increased by 3. Your current total spiritual level is 97. After saying goodbye to Zhang Jingxi and Zhang Jin at the company, Lin Zhengren was on the way back to the villa. The voice of the system continued to ring in his mind, and at the same time, the spiritual energy in his body was also increasing exponentially. Lin Zhengren regarded the previous words as the system summarizing his previous experiences. But the last 2 sentences really surprised Lin Zhengren. He didn't expect that the strongest enemy that the system reminded him of before, the leader of the largest organization in the borderless territory, was actually Fang Meng. But think about it, it makes sense. The 2 worlds have different judgments on enemies. And it has been confirmed that Fang Meng is the white-haired girl, which means that Fang Meng not only has a strong talent for imitation in various fields, but also quietly established as the IAO group a year ago. Now it is not a small company in other provinces. He can do this secretly by himself. Regardless of whether it is imitation or not. It is indeed a rare genius to be able to do such a thing. At this time, Lin Zhengren couldn't help but think of the conversation with Fang Meng at the door of the bathroom before the holiday. Lin Zhengren smiled. Since we are going to be together during the Spring Festival, I am afraid that Fang Meng's competition with He Qing Jingxi after the New Year will change. 2 hours later, they finally arrived at the villa. Lin Zhengren got off the car, and Han Wenwen and He Qing were waiting for him at the door. It looked like they had packed their luggage. Brother Zhengren is back. Han Wenwen immediately took Lin Zhengren's arm when she saw him get off the car, and couldn't wait to get close to him. Little He Qing also grinned. Lin Zhengren, you're back. Shall we leave today? Lin Zhengren nodded. Yes, the company's affairs are almost done. There are still some small matters left that Jingxi and Qianqian can handle. Let's take a car back to the south today, he asked. Have you 2 packed your luggage? The 2 girls nodded, and Han Wenwen said, Xiao Qing has packed these days, just waiting for Brother Zhengren to come back. Unexpectedly, just as Han Wenwen finished speaking, the girl with golden twin ponytails in the villa also came out. Zhang Zuli was there too. Zhang Zuli was not wearing the same outfit as usual today, but a female singer's outfit, a short skirt, long boots, and a fashionable yellow short-sleeved shirt. She also had makeup on her face, and a star sticker on her right cheek. Lily? Why are you here too? Zhang Zuli saw Lin Zhengren and snorted, and said proudly, my stupid boyfriend is leaving today so I came here to see you off. Lin Zhengren walked to Zhang Zuli and touched her face. What are you wearing today? Did you sneak back from the program crew? Zhang Zuli blushed and said, no, I asked for leave with a legitimate reason. How long will it take for you and He Qing to be back? Didn't I say it before? We'll be back before the new year. Zhang Zuli stared at Lin Zhengren. Before the new year? That means another 2 weeks. Yeah, another half a month. Zhang Zuli felt that the time was a bit long, but there was no way she could accompany He Qing and Han Wenwen back to her hometown. Zhang Zuli sighed and whispered with her mouth pursed, well, I missed you a little after not seeing you these few days. I didn't expect that I wouldn't see you for another half a month. I don't know what to say. Lin Zhengren smiled and teased, Lily is so honest now, very different from before. Zhang Zuli snorted in dissatisfaction. What do you mean by honest now? I was also honest before, okay? I'm not at Sundeer, and I certainly won't say anything against my will. After that, she and Lin Zhengren looked at each other, and they both laughed. Suddenly Zhang Zuli hugged Lin Zhengren and buried her face in his arms, feeling a little aggrieved. It's been a week since we last met. Zhengren, I missed you so much and wanted you to hug me. Lin Zhengren hugged Zhang Zuli tightly. Well, I was very busy this week and didn't go to watch your show, but I have asked them to send me the live video. I will watch it slowly when I have time. HMPH, idiot. Zhang Zuli was actually very happy to hear this, but immediately said reluctantly, we won't see each other for another half a month. Will you be as busy as this week when you go to the south? No. There's basically nothing important to do in the south this time. Mainly to see my aunt and accompany Wenwen to visit her uncle. Zhang Zuli looked up, then when I have nothing to do, you have to answer the video when I call you. I will miss you, you idiot, if I can't see you. Got it? Zhang Zuli stood on tiptoe and kissed Lin Zhengren's lips. The two of them briefly intimated for a while. Han Wenwen and He Qing behind them looked at them with envy and jealousy. Be careful on the road, idiot Zhengren. Zhang Zuli instructed. I will, silly Lily. The driver moved He Qing and Han Wenwen's luggage into the car. Lin Zhengren and the other two also got in the car. He Qing waved in the car and said, Lily, shall we go? Zhang Zuli also waved her hand, drive slowly on the road, and report safety when you get there. By the way, Zhengren, although I don't know what you can do, you will definitely be back during the spring festival, right? Lin Zhengren nodded in the car. Don't worry, Zhang Zuli smiled happily, I will wait for you to come back. Bye. Chapter 425, Being a Guest. Zhang Zuli watched Lin Zhengren's car leave for a long time at the intersection. She thought about it carefully. She had known Shaz Zhengren for so many years, and she had not been apart from him for a long time. He had always been with her like a shadow. This simple half-month was quite difficult for her. As she was thinking about all sorts of things in her mind, her cell phone rang. It was a call from her agent. Now Zhang Zuli also has her own independent agent. Zhang Zuli knew how she got out, so she quickly answered the phone with a blushing face. Hello. The agent was a little confused and asked anxiously, Lily? Where have you been again? Didn't you say you were going home to get something? It's been 2 hours and you haven't come back yet. Zhang Zuli blushed and smiled. I'll be back soon. I'm already on the return bus. See you in an hour. You'll be back in an hour. Hey. Lily, you really don't think of yourself as a star. At least you should know your own worth. Your time is very valuable now. 2 hours is enough for you to take several interviews. I know. I hang up. I'll be back now. Zhang Zuli took another look at the intersection and then hurried to take the bus. She knew that her time was very valuable after winning the championship. Many media had a hard time getting an appointment with her, and she could earn a lot with this little effort. But these things were nothing compared to seeing her favorite idiot Zhengren and saying goodbye to him. On the high-speed train, Lin Zhengren accompanied Han Wenwen and He Qing in the car. The three of them looked at the scenery outside the window, talking and laughing. Han Wenwen and He Qing held Lin Zhengren's arm the whole time, making many passers-by envious. They were all curious about how this boy could have two such beautiful girls around him at the same time, and they were so close to him. The curious and envious eyes of the passers-by made little He Qing blush a little. But even the most shy little He Qing has begun to get used to this kind of thing. She can't stop being close to Lin Zhengren just because of other people's curiosity. Being close is still the most important thing, and what others say has nothing to do with him. After a very long journey, the three finally got off at a high-speed railway station in the far south. The scenery around you is very different from that in the north as soon as you get off the train. The accents of the people next to you have also changed. He Qing and Han Wenwen took a deep breath when they breathed in the air of their hometown. Han Wenwen sighed, what a familiar smell. Little He Qing also agreed, the air in my hometown is different from that in the north. By the way, Lin Zhengren and Wenwen, where are you staying tonight? Are you staying at my house? You don't want to stay in a hotel. Lin Zhengren smiled and touched the silly girl's head. Of course, since we are here, we must visit Aunt first. Han Wenwen added, I can visit my uncle and aunt tomorrow, just buy some gifts and say hello, and bother aunt tonight. Little He Qing was happy. Okay. Then stay at my house. My mother misses Lin Zhengren and keeps thinking about Wenwen. I haven't told my mother about coming back today. It's just right to go home and give my mother and grandma a surprise. The three of them walked towards little He Qing's home together. On the way, they passed by the supermarket and bought some gifts. It was the first time for Lin Zhengren to come to He Qing's home, because little He Qing's hometown was not on the town, but in a small village near the town. There are many mountains around, and the environment is simple and fresh, which is refreshing at a glance. There were many cats and dogs wandering around in the village. Little He Qing walked to the wooden gate of her old home and pointed, Lin Zhengren, this is my home. The three of them walked in together. In the yard, He Qing's grandmother was sitting in the sun, with some wild vegetables in front of her, washing and picking them slowly, as if she was going to eat them tonight. Grandma. I'm back. Hearing the voice of her granddaughter, He Qing's grandmother looked up. When little He Qing saw her grandmother, she jumped over happily and hugged her with open arms. Grandma. I'm back from vacation. I missed you so much. He Qing's grandmother was also surprised and stood up quickly. King King is back. Well, let me introduce them to you. She tried to explain seriously, her face flushed. This is Lin Zhengren, he's my boyfriend, and this is Wenwen. You've met her. She used to play with me when we were little. but she hasn't been back much in recent years. Lin Zhengren and Han Wenwen greeted together. Hello, Grandma. Lin Zhengren was carrying something. Grandma, this is a little gift I bought for you and Aunt. I'm sorry to bother you this time. Don't bother me. Don't bother me. When He Qing's grandmother saw Lin Zhengren, she smiled and nodded, and even subconsciously wiped the dust off her hands, very formally, because Lin Zhengren's previous delivery of medicine made He Qing's grandmother always feel that this person was the reincarnation of an immortal, and she must not be neglected. In the eyes of the older generation, people who can make that kind of elixir are not ordinary people. Finally I meet her in person. She is indeed a rare talent. The medicine you sent me before is very effective. I have been in good health for such a long time since I took it. I feel relaxed and have the strength to work. Thank you so much. Lin Zhengren felt that the other party was a little too formal. Grandma, you are welcome. It is the right thing to do. Grandma smiled happily. And Wenwen, Grandma hasn't seen you for a long time. I didn't expect you to be so beautiful now. Come in and sit down. Come in and sit down. Grandma smiled and said, I didn't know you were coming today. I didn't clean up. You sit down first and I will go to pour you some water. He Qing hurried over to support her. Grandma, no need. I will clean up. Where is my mother? Hasn't she gotten off work yet? Well, did you tell your mother when you came back this time? Grandma didn't know you were coming back today. I didn't tell her on purpose, just to give Mom and Grandma a surprise. Seeing little He Qing so happy, Lin Zhengren knew that this trip back was worth it. He and Han Wenwen looked at each other. Han Wenwen whispered, Brother Zhengren, let's go in too. At around 5 in the afternoon, Auntie also drove back from get off work. She was holding a bag in her hand, and it seemed that she had bought something. She saw the half-picked wild vegetables in the yard and put them away. Mom? Why did you leave the wild vegetables there? We won't eat wild vegetables tonight. As soon as she opened the door and entered the house, she saw her daughters Lin Zhengren and Han Wenwen. She was very surprised. He Qing is back? And Zhengren and Wenwen. It's been a long time since we last met. Lin Zhengren stood up and greeted them. Auntie walked over with a smile. No need to get up. No need to get up. Zhengren, the medicine you gave me last time is really useful. After taking it, I have no more problems. If you have nothing to do tonight, stay here. Auntie will cook a few dishes for you. The family closed the door and chatted at home. In the evening, everyone sat at the dining table, talking and chatting happily. After dinner, under Auntie's instructions, little He Qing spread the quilt for Lin Zhengren in the guest room because Han Wenwen was also staying today. So at night, Han Wenwen and He Qing would definitely sleep together, and Lin Zhengren would sleep alone. Although He Qing and Han Wenwen felt that it was unnecessary, they had to separate temporarily after all because they were elders. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.